hate puppies.
Good podcast. You ready?
No. I feel threatened. A little bit.
Get ready.
I'm getting there. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Pallet House, the only podcast dedicated to solving first world problems and helping you figure out what you should be drinking next weekend. I can tell you the answer now. Spoiler alert, it's a Sazerac. That's what you should be drinking next weekend. And I only know that because we are joined today.
Fan favorite.
It's a fan favorite right now. Oh, yeah. We mean talking about Ray?
Ray, yeah.
Oh, yes. Ray is here, but we're also joined by Taylor. And when those two come together in the Voltron that they are, they actually form the Squeezin' Lemons podcast.
Yes.
So I'm excited to have you all both here. Thank you both so much for coming in tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I think thank you.
Well, listen, we just started.
I know.
It's early.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the concern, is that we haven't even started yet, and I'm already... Technically, I'm triple fisting. I've got an old fashioned in front of me that was clearly not made like a normal old fashioned. It was like a blackberry simple syrup or some craziness in it.
Spiced cherry in it. So
Yeah, there's a spiced cherry bitters that we put in it instead of like a regular orange bitters.
The spice is what changes everything for me. It's making the bourbon turn into bourbon. Like it's like better.
Yep.
And then what do you think about that Sazerac?
Fucking makes old fashions like Fisher Price.
Yeah.
Like I never had a Sazerac.
This is your first one?
Yeah, and the stink on it, I thought Sazerac, to Troy's point before the episode started, was actually... Now, I'd seen it on menus, and I'm like, okay, that's just a liquor.
Yeah.
Why would I want Sazerac? Well, it turns out you want Sazerac because you do something to the liquor. You fuck it into submission.
Well, yeah, so one of the things that we've got to explore, we do a lot of drinking. Taylor and I,
We do.
Let's tell the listeners. Well, first off, y'all have 2 episodes out.
We have 2
right
episodes.
now. You're on Spotify. You're working to get on the iPod, Apple.
Yeah.
The fruity. The fruity.
So
podcast.
yeah, so get on.
Easy enough, huh?
Hunt them down in Spotify and give them a listen for 2 episodes. The 3rd episode's coming out when this comes out.
Yep.
Their 3rd episode will be out. Y'all have a bunch more in the can, and you're making some new ones. So just tell everybody what you guys are about and and where it all came from.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. Ray and I, kind of during COVID, much like most everyone else, couldn't get out to our local areas in Richmond or maybe in Roanoke for you. But we decided to start making cocktails at home. And what that looked like. And it mainly started kind of on a dare of should we go through Dilford's guide of the 100 top cocktails.
So Difford's Guide is a big syndicated publication out of Australia, which is really highly regarded in the cocktail world. And they had the top 100 cocktails in the world.
And they have recipes in
They
there?
have recipes,
Nice.
and
Recipes,
honestly,
everything, yeah.
she's on TikTok, so the Difford's Guide has it, and there's a very attractive blonde on there.
Never hurts.
It's
never
a
hurts to
premium
watch.
follow. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
That's
So-
what's keeping us from getting
Like-
really big. You know, like
Right.
Brendan and I can only do so much.
I'm working on my tits.
Right.
Every day.
So we started watching her, and we said, you know what, let's just do this and see how long it takes us to get through the top 100
What is
cocktails.
her name on TikTok? I missed it.
It's Difford's Guide, DIFFORD Guide, and it's
So
Difford's.
is this like
Difford's
something?
Guide. Okay.
Is
I'm
this
in.
guide something restaurants or bartenders try strive to get
Yes.
into? Because if you do, like
Right.
it's like you're-
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and so when she talks about the cocktails, she tells you the history, she tells you what the origin is, what things you can do differently, and they, I guess people vote for this.
So does
and-
this guide work like this drink you have to go to New York and go to this restaurant because they make the best one, or you have to see this bartender at this?
No,
It's really just
no. It's actually it's geared for your regular bartenders or even home bartenders. Now, honestly,
There is like accreditations to whatever cocktail it is. So it might be, Joe Blow, down here at Richmond, Liquors, like made this cocktail, but it's
like
not,
here's a good version of it. Check this
Right.
place out.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And so we started, so we originally had a bourbon group that we were, 6, 7, 8 of us that would go in and drink bourbon. And then this came out and we said, let's just start making cocktails.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
And actually, we started with we used to do bourbon tastings like on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And then one day we were like, you know what? Maybe what we'll do is do a cocktail and a bourbon tasting.
Yeah.
And, we had some good feedback, and we were like, oh, maybe we just get a podcast and get a couple mics and see what happens.
Bourbon's like took off, and then like you can only drink. I mean, yes, we all love bourbon, but
Right.
it's nice to switch it up every now and then. Throw a little high quality mixer in there and get a different version of it. Like
Agreed. And if I recall, the last time I was here, you challenged me, Troy, that you'd never had a gin drink that you'd like.
yeah. And I can hold fast to that
Well, maybe not
on
tonight.
a technicality.
Not tonight.
Yes.
Not tonight.
Okay.
Oh.
This Difford's guide got me thinking. I'd like to turn you on to the Harris list of Covent Garden ladies.
Oh my gosh! You're bringing this whole thing back
Now,
out
this
again.
is from 1788. Now, this
Nice.
is also the guide that'll tell you where all the good whores are
Nice.
in the Covent Gardens in London. And it's very similar. And I like to keep little notes of who got drunk and earmarked little pages.
Right.
So this is very much like
This
the
is a
original.
legit. This is a legit publication. This isn't like a mockery. Like this is some guy actually took the time to document the hookers.
Where the hookers are.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the 1700s.
Oh, and all their addresses.
Nowadays,
Number 8
this is
Castle
a-
Street, Oxford Market. So this is the original difference.
That's
guide.
the original difference.
Right.
So
guide.
if you ever
Okay.
want to spend some
But with
time,
ladies.
I wholeheartedly recommend Harris list of Covent Garden ladies.
You got it. You got it.
Nowadays,
That will
it's
put
like
that.
an Excel spreadsheet on Reddit.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is now.
That's where I discovered it actually was on Reddit.
See, there it is.
Figuring it out. But as you were talking about difference guide, I was like, I've got kind of the same.
Oh yeah,
thing.
it's kind of the same thing. What am I drinking here, Ray?
So-
you made this for me. Back to your
I know
challenge.
that I know that you're not partaking.
Yeah.
Which I respect. It's
awesome.
I only went 7
thank
days
you.
in January. So,
Congrats to you.
Right.
So you did do dry January.
I did do dry January till January 7th.
25%.
And then I had my birthday party, and
Yeah.
that was it.
It's
So,
downhill from there.
That happens.
That-
Well, it's a celebration, bitches.
Right.
Well,
so
when you
we did a
start
ranch.
a podcast that focuses
Right.
around mixing drinks, you might want to stick to that.
That is true. That is true. So I made you a ranch water.
Yeah, it's delicious.
It's a Topo Chico with a little bit of citrus and a simple in there. Has blackberry lemon simple syrup.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys make your simple syrups, right?
Oh, we do.
We do, yeah.
That is really cool. I need to get it. That's something I could get into. Like
It's
I
a
could,
recipe you can handle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can switch it on them and change it up and make different versions and just add it to so many different things.
Absolutely. Taylor's got this great story about his simple. So
Yeah, so Ray and I have done a bunch of different simples, and we've infused basil leaves, like mint, everything to it.
Do y'all get scientific and just come up like something? You'll
would
be riding
say-
down
I
the
would
road
say
and
Ray
something will
does.
pop in your
Yeah.
head and you'll be like, let's try this.
yeah, I mean, I think the next thing I want to do is some jalapeno simple. I think that'll be
yes.
the next one. That'll be
yeah.
more kind of spring-ish. You
Yeah.
know? So
That's
we
right.
might try something like that.
Yeah, my story though is that one day I think I was working from home. I was like, I'll multitask, and we always make 2-to-1 simple, so it's a lot of sugar compared to 1 cup of water if you're doing 2 cups of sugar. And I put it on the stove and walked off and forgot it.
Oh, no.
Completely.
If that water goes away, it's actually a really bad situation.
Right, it is. But the good thing is I had it all the way down on low.
Yeah.
And honestly, our simples prior to this happy accident have been very viscous and thick, And our 2-to-1 simples now, when we do the set it and forget it type of, thing that I did,
Yeah.
run it on low and run it till it's clear and liquidy, and it's great.
So it
It's
runs
easy.
thinner now?
Yeah, it runs thinner.
I would have guessed
2-to-1.
differently.
Yeah.
But at 2-to-1, it's already it lends itself to being more viscousy
Yep.
or syrupy. At
It
least.
does.
right.
It does.
Yeah.
And yes, and so there are some drinks that call for 2-to-1 simple, and there's some drinks that call for 1-to-1 simple.
I've always done 1-to-1. I thought that was like the standard. That's how you do it.
Sure.
Right.
That's what I'd
Yeah.
always been told.
But there are lots of cocktails out there that don't even call for, white sugar. Some of them call for
That was my
Demerara
next
or
question.
turbinado
Right.
sugar.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming any good mixed drink, what matters is the mixers you're using, because if you're just using
Sure.
crap mixers, it doesn't matter what you're mix. It could be mix perfectly and it's going to taste like crap. So to use, you don't go buy plain white sugar, whatever the
Yeah, we
Kroger brand or something.
Sure.
Or you buy like, okay.
That's fine. If you're doing 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 white sugar, and some of the recipes call for that, and then we even have some drinks that we know specifically that we're going to do. We're gonna need something that has a little more rich or a little more spice, or even honey. You can do honey, 1-to-1, 2-to-1, or even 3-to-1. 3-to-1 honey syrup is great.
Oh wow!
Have you ever heard of these brown butter bourbons or something, like a butter bath or something? What?
Yeah, so they brown the butter and then they filter it through.
What are they doing?
Yeah, so a lot of these, the new thing now is fat washed or buttered bourbon.
Yeah, what the hell is it? Tastes great, but I don't know what I'm drinking, and so I just order it like I'm knowledgeable. I'm like, oh, I see you have a brown buttered bourbon. I would appreciate an old fashioned with that, I'm just making it up. But what am I doing?
It depends on what they have it for. It's going to give you this mouth, kind of this,
like a slick, right?
Like a slick on your mouth,
like
the buttered or even the fat or the fat wash. So a bacon fat wash bourbon, that's the new thing now, where you take the grease from bacon, and you put it in with your bourbon and let it sit, and then you filter it through a coffee filter.
So I don't have to boil it or anything. I'm literally just putting it in. I'm letting it just sit for 48 hours.
So it's kind of like the butter and the coffee, thing.
Yeah. Have you tried that, Troy?
Yeah, I was drinking that with the MCT oil back in the day for a long time. Joe Rogan got me onto that, and he's pretty badass.
Well, they're on the same platform as Joe Rogan.
Yeah, they're on Spotify.
We're waiting for the call.
Yeah,
it's coming. It's coming. That usually happens around episode 7.
Well, these guys are workout warriors, so they probably done a version of that with their coffee, right? Are you coffee drinkers and do the butter?
I was keto for like 6 months at one point.
Yeah.
My wife and I was like, since this is a good idea.
Outside of the simple sugar.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're well past that, but we did that. We did the MTC oil, the butter, like heavy cream.
But see, I don't think that tastes good in my coffee. I actually think it gets on my teeth and it's funky. But when I drink it in bourbon, I like it a lot. So they're literally just soaking it and then straining it.
That's it.
I do like the heavy cream. That was delicious.
It was pretty good.
But the butter and the MCT oil, I just couldn't get down with.
Yeah, my wife just bought a bunch of these butter bombs to put in our coffee, and I did it once, and I was like, so I'm never doing that again.
Right.
And then she was like, but it's so good for you. And then I saw 2-3 weeks later, it was still in the fridge. And it was one of those days we were putting the groceries in. She was like, and fuck this shit. And I was like, yes, perfect. That stuff is gross.
Well, and the new thing now is milk washed.
Milk washed.
How do I do
clarified cocktails? So
again, I just soak it.
Soaking back to soaking.
So there are cocktails freezer door or batch cocktails. There are a bunch of that work better that way. They take these mixes and they mix them, and they put a cup or a cup and a half of heavy cream or milk inside that vat of mix. You let it sit overnight so it curds, and then you filter it, and then you drink that.
This sounds awful.
I love your face right now too.
And I'm very confused.
It sounds horrible.
It sounds really bad.
Yeah. So the milk washed cocktails that I've had at bars have been outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yep.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Objection! Hearsay!
I mean, look, it's a known fact that we like lactose beers, so I mean, I'm down to try it. But
the curdle sounds odd. But then you get
you filter it out.
But then you get some of this aged beef, and you're like, how'd you age it? There, wait till there's mold on it. And I'm like, whoa, back it up. And you taste it, you're like, oh, that's actually quite good.
Right. Yeah. So
and it's who thought to freaking run bacon fat through it? Who's like, you know what this bourbon's missing? A whole lot of bacon fat.
You know why? It was a healthy dude. I know that one. It was a very svelte guy. Just wanted a little protein in his diet.
Now, but everybody loves the taste of bacon, so I can get behind that.
Sure.
But the milk thing's a whole nother.
Well, does it lend to smokiness when you do the bacon fat, or is it just?
Yes. Yeah. And depends on what kind of bacon. Like if it's apple or if it's mesquite, you can definitely taste that inside.
Because I'm doing, I got one of those those smoke things you put on top of the glass, and you hit it with the torch, and then it pulls the smoke in.
Right.
And I'm enjoying the hell out of that. I don't know. Are you guys messing with smoked cocktails?
So we have.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a secret. Freeze your glass before you do it.
Okay, hold on. There's two schools of thoughts, and you're actually going down one of these roads. So this is why I was bringing it up. Man, I love this. I'm like kid in a candy store, just learning. So I have seen places where they put the drink in, and then they smoke it, and the smoke sits on top of the drink. And now I've been seeing places where they like wet the glass,
Right.
and then they put the smoke in the glass, and they bring the glass out topped with the drink in another glass, and then dump it in the smoky glass. Do you have a preferred method? And I'm assuming yours is
I
the
think you
latter.
should smoke your glass before you put your alcohol in it.
I do
Okay,
too.
but you would freeze the glass, and
Yep.
is that because you want?
Smoke adheres to it,
There's
maybe.
Two things.
Yeah.
So the first thing is that every cocktail glass should be cold no matter what, unless you're drinking a hot toddy.
Yeah.
So keep all of your glassware inside of your
or
freezer.
or a wassail.
Or-
Just trying to
Yeah, tying it back. I got you.
just trying to
You want to give the
act like
listeners
they
a
know
little-
what
that
I'm
like-
talking about.
You
that
wanna
was
give a
like
little
3
taste
weeks
of that?
ago. You're still on the wassail from 3 weeks ago?
Give us a little taste of the wassail. How's it go again?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. You
Nobody
know.
knows. Nobody knows.
You know.
Wassail all over the town. That's it.
That's
all
it.
you get.
All right, so there are two reasons.
We drink unto thee.
So
See, you
the
get
the glass should be cold, no matter
Okay,
what.
yeah,
right?
sure.
And then the
Bars don't do it that way.
good bars,
Good bars.
Good bars,
do,
yeah.
bars do.
Right.
You know, where do they pull your beer glass from?
Yeah.
From the freezer or from the
Yeah.
fridge.
Same thing.
So why don't they do the cocktail glasses? And then the other thing too is the condensation from the cold glass actually attracts the smoke
Yeah.
right to the glass, and it stays there longer.
So you do believe I get a better smoky flavor by doing the glass, not the drink?
Correct.
Yep.
See,
I would
that's
listen
why
to
I-
him.
No. So I always was doing the drink itself, and I thought, look how cool I am.
Yeah.
And then I got this new
But
one.
you probably see an ice drink hold it better because
Well, that
the
so
ice
the
is in
first
there,
time
right?
someone brought it out, and they brought it out like it was badass. They like put chips in a little tiny like cast iron skillet,
Yeah.
and turned the glass upside down and put it on there. And I was like, that's a dope presentation. And I was like, well, there has to be more to this than presentation. Like, there's probably logic behind it.
Science.
And then when I got this thing called the Smoke Show, I'll give a little plug for this company called Smoke Show. And they make these little things. It's basically a marijuana bowl inverted, and you like light it, and it just draws in. And I was like, "Oh, that's brilliant." But I read the instructions, and it said, wet the glass, put it in the glass first, or you put your ice in the glass with it, and then do it. But then put the drink in. And I thought, okay, this is totally foreign to me. This is not what I've been doing. So I asked, and that's why I asked, because we're inside the science house.
That's right.
Literally.
First world problems.
We're gonna
Yeah,
learn.
we're solving them right now.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna learn tonight.
Yeah, there's people all over like, no, fire's bad. And
Yeah.
you were like, we just need fire. We're over here like, I just want the right amount of fire
Yeah.
with a little bit of hickory smoke
Yeah.
inside of my chilled glass.
With my ice.
And
First world problem.
there is different wood chips. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
That's-
and-
Yeah.
We've done that too.
Oh, I've got cherry, I've got apple, I've got hickory when I want to get hardcore. I got mesquite, and then I have a bourbon barrel. Ooh,
Oh, so you've already got a charred barrel or something.
double
yeah,
charred.
like-
They should, yeah. So I'm all in on this smoking stuff.
Yeah. Well, we learned something new last night that the bourbon industry currently is struggling to find white oak
Yep.
so that they can make barrels, because that's the only way you can call it
Bourbon.
bourbon.
White American oak.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has
American
to be
oak.
a new
It has to
barrel.
be.
Like,
Correct.
we have to get new barrels. We can't.
Right. So they're going around. They're just driving like these barrel or these. I don't know what the hell they call these barrel companies.
Barrelologists.
Right. So they're
Barrel.
going
Barrel
around.
makers.
They're going around and trying to like driving down wooded areas
Yeah.
and asking
They got
people they can
arborists
just buy
that are, like,
can I
picking
buy
out-
your property, because I need all 10,000 of these white oak American trees.
Ah, well, I know
Nice.
what I'm protesting on Arbor Day.
Arbor Day. So
Furious.
before we keep going down the whole drink thing, let's go back to the podcast.
Yeah.
Tell everybody how you do your podcast weekly. Like, what's the premise? Like, because obviously people ask us, they were asking us tonight, well, y'all do a podcast, what's it about? And I still can't hardly answer it, other than we do the drink.
Yeah,
we
yours
try
was
drink.
easier to describe.
Yeah, we
Right.
talked more about how you do yours. So tell our listeners how you guys do yours every week.
Yeah. So our podcast is basically, it's centered around simple ingredients that you can use at home to make great cocktails.
You're
From
trying
two
to
simple guys.
educate and teach people
Sure.
how to become at-home mixologists. Like, you
Absolutely.
at home can do all these amazing things. You're paying $20, $25 when you go out, and that's fine and good because you're getting an experience. But if you want a good quality drink. You can do it at home, is what you're trying to get across.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
For
think so.
like a quarter of the price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If that, right?
Sure.
I mean,
if that,
sometimes.
yeah. I mean, for nickels.
Yeah.
I've had the best old fashioned in Sazerac, right? And I'm in $0. So as far as I'm concerned, I feel like it's really cheap to do
It's
it. At
really
home.
working.
Yeah, I can tell you with that Sazerac, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing is. It's like my face is numb, and we're 20 minutes in. I'm like, this is bad.
No, I think another premise of like what we do too is I don't know, we have a bunch of friends, and my wife and I love having people over at our house, like hosting. And I don't necessarily always love to just be like, hey, there's some White Claws on the back porch, or some Michelob, whatever. I like to make drinks for friends, and used to, that was something that was intimidating, I think. Because then you were just like, well, I might can make a old fashioned or a margarita because somebody show me it.
I literally make mules because I
Yeah.
know I
You
can't
know how
fuck
to
it
do
up.
it.
And I buy the Q ginger because it has a little spice already in it.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
like, look at my mule, which sounds bad, but they're like, wow, that's like the best mule ever. And it's because I can't screw it up because I am intimidated. So this
Yeah.
is a good premise because I can't be the only one out there.
I can make almost any blank and blank out there. I'll just put that out there.
I'm like, have you tried?
Be like, have you tried my gin and tonics? They will.
Have you ever? Can I interest you in a bourbon and Coke?
Well, no, so
Sit
actually,
down before I throw this one at you. Bourbon
is-
and ginger.
there's a fancy name for basically it's a rum and Coke. You just
It's
put
a
more
Cuba
Cuba
Libre.
Libre.
Yes, so that is the one. Yeah, and so you literally just add a little more Coke. There you
No,
go.
it's actually, you add lime.
That's it. Yeah, you squeeze a lime in it.
Yeah.
And that's
Technically-
Cuba Libre. So I have pulled that fucking shenanigans and that. So it's
Nice.
like, I can make you a Cuba Libre, and people go, ooh, and I'm like, and nailed it.
And so, like, I always say "fuck you" to Taylor all the time because every once
does.
in a while I start I'm like, God, I want a Coke. You ever get that itching
Yeah.
for like
Yeah,
I don't drink a
Coke
lot
is
of
the
soda.
best.
Like so I'll say, well, if I'm gonna have a Coke, I'm gonna add rum to it, of course. But this Cuba Libre we make has coconut rum in it.
Right.
Ah.
Oh, it's fucking delicious.
Yeah, it's great.
And you
Okay.
guys are saying with a couple more, one or two easy steps, you can really upgrade your game.
Yeah, exactly.
Squeeze a
So-
lime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it and,
Now
and,
it's
and
Cheat
it
Cuba
coding
Libre.
it for all us
right,
dum-dums.
and it does take one dash of Angostura.
Angostura bitters,
The rest of the true recipe calls for a dash of Angostura and a
Well,
squeeze.
That is not how I do it.
However, right,
Now, here's a little pro tip for
Yeah.
rum. I have learned, and I'm not a mixologist. Clearly, that's why I'm on the Inside the Palate House
Yeah.
podcast and not squeezing lemons. But I actually will take coconut water and freeze it in an ice cube tray.
oh, that's a great
and
idea.
then use that when I make rum drinks because that
Oh.
will slowly dissolve and add a coconut flavor.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
See?
I
So-
got one. I
Yeah.
got one. That is the last one I'm going to get tonight.
So in my glass, I have a cube which I get
Yes.
from a restaurant in Roanoke. It has like elderberry in it and different kinds of apple cider. You just pour bourbon over top of it and you freeze it and you do it. And I have the recipe for it and we can make it, but it's easier to buy.
People overlook the importance of the ice cube.
Yeah, the
like
ice
people
cube
think,
is-
no, if I can just get one of those molds and I make a circle, or I
Right.
make a sphere, or I make a square, I've nailed it. You can get really damn fancy. I've had drinks where people put like cold brewed coffee in there,
Right.
turn that into the ice cube. But my trick has always just been the coconut milk, and I actually will drink rum on the rocks with that. So it kind of infuses a flavor.
And it's surprising too, at some bars even that I've been to, that like your ice choice is even an upgrade. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
you can
surprising.
upgrade your ice?
You can, yeah. So some bars will be like, yeah, you want old fashioned? Do you want that on rocks or do you want a cube?
And
Because the cube is $1.
And they'll charge you $1.
Nice.
Yep.
It's easy money. But it does make a
Oh, I like
difference,
that.
right? It
But
makes
it's
a
still
huge
H2O,
difference.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, it does make a difference.
Because it doesn't
really
melt
does.
as quickly.
It doesn't melt as
and it
quickly.
doesn't
Yeah.
water down your drink as quickly.
Absolutely.
Right.
Just to throw this out, do you guys know when you should use a circle and when you should use a square?
No idea.
Depending on the hole it's going in.
That is correct.
true.
That is actually
the
correct.
glass itself?
The glass itself.
Nailed it.
Wow.
So-
Did you literally just pull that out of your ass?
Well, no, because you can't put a circle round peg in a
Oh,
square.
you're literally back to preschool. Like, you're just like,
But it's the opposite. If you have a square glass, use a round cube.
ah.
And if you have a round
Oh,
glass,
is that so
use a
there's no
square.
edges, right?
Yep.
Like the ice doesn't press up
There you
against the
go.
glass.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
Nice.
And
Just
it
the
does
microphone.
that does make a huge difference.
You should have said,
Yeah.
you didn't let me finish, Ray. What I was going to say.
By whole, I meant glass.
Yeah.
The whole glass.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
But part of our premise when we do this is that part of the education process is us drinking.
Yeah. It kind of is.
The process to make this podcast can take several days. Generally, we've gotten much better at it now. So we'll prep a day before, 2 days before. We will make all the cocktails that we want to do.
Take our pictures.
Take the pictures
social
because
media.
Yeah.
when we not only do we talk about it, we talk about the recipe, but we also put it on our Instagram.
Awesome. And what's that?
Squeeze and lemons _cocktails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember when we
you're-
were young and had all this.
Remember that? We were
vigor
doing,
and
like, social
we were
media?
trying all this stuff. I love seeing the sparkle in your eyes. Now I've listened to 100% of your podcast. Huge fan.
Okay.
So one of y'all mentioned, I think, a low ball glass and a high ball glass. I always thought the short glass was a high ball glass. Is that not a high ball glass?
No, it's
No, low
tall
ball.
one.
What's
Uh,
Tall,
so a
skinny.
high ball is like a pint glass?
it's generally called a Collins glass when you
oh,
have alcohol.
like the
Yeah.
the tall cylinder.
Yep.
Yep.
But that doesn't hold as much as a. They probably about hold the same amount of fluid,
Depends.
right?
It depends.
It depends.
Because
Yeah.
the highball one's still more of a is
Right.
not
Right.
as big around.
Yeah, I mean,
Girthy.
Girthy,
It's not
yeah.
as
But I
girthy.
think a good example of like when you would use like the difference is like, if you're making an old fashioned, right? I mean, it's easy. You have simples, you have bourbon, you have some bitters, expressed orange, and it looks good in a low ball glass over a cube. However, if you're making a mojito, right, where
Yeah.
you have actual floating mint in it or something like that, you don't want that to be jammed in the bottom of a low ball glass.
Okay.
You want it to present better.
and also it's
in a-
probably
in
like
a high
7
ball.
ounces of volume of
Right.
liquid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are different types of coupes too. Coupe is a smaller glass, like with a stem generally.
Yep.
You have a regular
Yep.
coupe and you have a Nick and Nora.
Right.
Nick and Nora glass is only 4 ounces. So if you have a spirit forward glass or a spirit forward cocktail, Nick and Nora is the way to go.
Yep.
Well,
I
we
mean,
know
I'm-
about the beer. Different beers come in different for different reasons. What
Yeah.
in wines too. The stem,
Yeah.
so you hold the stem so your hand doesn't heat it up. So it only makes sense that the cocktails would have variation.
Absolutely.
sure.
We follow this guy's. His name is H. We don't really know his real name, but
Am
he's
I
on.
wrong? Sorry to
Oh,
cut
yeah,
you
yeah.
off, but am I wrong to think that most people call that regular glass a highball glass? Like, is that
The smaller one?
Yeah, I feel
no,
like-
everybody calls it a low ball.
so? So
I don't. I call it a highball glass.
You call the small one the highball.
Yeah, it's just my standard. Be like, just let me. I mean, I get the highball is the tall one, but I just refer
Yeah.
to it kind of like Kleenex or Xerox or
like I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when, I feel
yeah.
like when people say they're having a drink, they're having a highball,
Sure.
whether or not it's in the tall skinny glass or the short
Right.
standard
Yeah.
glass that I'm confusing
And,
with.
and most bartenders will probably they'll choose the small one.
Yeah,
for you.
right.
If you ask for something neat or over the rocks,
Yeah,
it'll be
or a
fine.
blank and blank. You're
Yeah.
getting the
Right.
the shorty.
Yeah.
But some bartenders too will kind of decide what glass you're going to get depending on like how much liquor you're getting in it too, right? Mm-hmm. So if you were just getting like something simple like a gin and tonic, right? And if you're
That should
getting
come
one
in a
shot
low
of
ball.
it'd come in a low ball. But if he says, hey, do you want to double it, right? 2 shots of gin, then you're going to get in a highball because you want the volume of the tonic to also
Gotcha.
match.
not the bars I go to.
Yeah.
And then it's a pint glass.
right.
That's,
Right.
that's where I am. I'm
Makes
at
sense.
Fridays.
You know what?
we have found that glassware is super important.
It really
You
is.
can taste a difference with
Oh yes,
Yes,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And
Really?
back to what I was saying, we have this guy.
Well, it's an amalgamation of the little things that make your drinks better than a standard drink.
it. That is absolutely the truth.
Yeah,
like this
'cause-
dude, all right, look, Taylor literally spritzed absinthe
Yeah.
on this cup,
Yeah.
a fucking Sazerac, and now every time I bring it up to my nose, I get a flavor
Sure.
that's not super present in the drink, but now my nose is smelling
Sinuses
something.
are full of it.
But
Yeah.
that's to your point. It's all the pieces that come together to make the whole.
Yeah.
And you should always have a garnish.
You should. Garnish is prepare your palate, right? And so for your Sazerac, you're getting some licorice forward.
So you're
right?
considering the anise flavor of the absinthe that you sprayed on here, the garnish.
Yeah,
Correct.
and
So
you can-
garnish doesn't have to be visible to me.
it doesn't. Or
Doesn't
I
have to
mean,
be.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you're
there's-
telling me every time there's a garnish in a drink, there's a reason behind it, not just for showmanship.
it should be.
Should be.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm learning more.
I'm
than I
learning a
thought.
whole
Yeah.
lot.
And if you're doing it at home, do it fucking right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the time. Take the time.
Well, it doesn't even take that much time. You guys are whipping out drinks over here
Yeah.
like it's nothing.
Now, granted, if we were down at like Have a Nice Day Cafe down in Richmond, obviously I'm not going to make a 7-step Sazerac for somebody.
Yeah.
But if I
No.
am, ask Taylor, how much does it cost when they make a 7-step
That's good.
Sazerac?
Cost you about $25.
Right.
Yeah.
At a bar.
At a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's actually why I go. There's a bar here in Richmond for all the people who are local, or if you're listening outside of here and you ever come to Richmond, I highly recommend going to the Jasper. And I go there because it's the only place where they take the time. Like they literally will take 2 minutes to make my drink. And I'm fine with that because I'm watching them craft this thing. And then when I get it, I'm like, holy shnikes.
Piece of art.
It smells different. It drinks differently. The end result's the same. I won't lie.
You're telling
I'm
me the
calling an Uber.
Cheesecake Factory doesn't do it the same way?
No, Cheesecake Factory is an anomaly. Of course. Look, any place that can make Mexican food, Italian food, Chinese food, and cheesecake, and then American fare clearly is taking the time to do
I
it
thought
right.
Cheesecake Factory and Fridays were where you went for quality drinks. No, you're telling me no?
Cheesecake Factory for wine,
For wine.
Fridays for cocktails. Yeah.
Applebee's on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. It's special.
Of course. See, Taylor gets it.
Yeah.
And so every week when we do these cocktails, we prepare. We decide. Taylor and I will brainstorm throughout the week. Every day, I would say, every day Taylor and I send each other
Something.
a cocktail. Hey, try this. Let's make this.
Young podcasters.
Yes.
Right.
You see
and
this?
so like the other day,
So much pep in their step.
The exuberance.
Yeah.
It's intoxicating.
It's rubbing off on me.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I
true.
feel drunk from it, strangely.
It's really
intoxicating.
pointing out how little we actually put into ours now.
Hold on. Now, that actually makes me want to bring something up because I'm sure you've noticed some of the hardships with doing a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it is exciting and it is fun. And those first 7 episodes are probably the most fun. And,
Yeah.
and the majority of podcasts don't get past 7 episods. That is a fact.
wow. Okay.
They come out.
Yeah.
You guys just
Made it.
recorded
we
8.
just we just recorded 8.
You
Put
are
it out.
now.
Put them all out first. Let's not count the chickens before
That's
they
true.
hatch.
Yeah.
But you are now on the other. You're almost on the other side once
Yeah.
they
Right.
go out. You've
Right.
made it. That is. I know that doesn't seem like an accomplishment, but it actually is. Most people get to 7 and they go, "What the fuck have I gotten into?"
Yeah.
Because
Right.
there's a
Right.
lot of
Yeah.
hurdles and a lot of headaches, and I feel like I've already uncovered one just in the little bit that we're talking because you're on Spotify. Well, there's a million ways to download a podcast, and you're on one of them.
Right.
And so already, I'm assuming you're coming up against the waiting period of Apple.
We
You're
are
coming
waiting.
up against-
That's it. We're
are.
on
Yeah.
a 30-day
And
waiting.
These are extremely frustrating. And it's because basically they want to kind of hear these shows and make sure that you're not talking about stuff that like they probably shouldn't be putting out there.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So they're kind of feeling you out. And they also know that you're going to fail before 7.
Yeah.
So why waste their time?
right.
Okay.
So these are all parts of it. But how has the process been as far as the logistics? Because I know it's an absolute headache. Has it been difficult, or is this exuberance still carrying on despite the headache?
Yeah, I think we record pretty much strictly at my house,
Yep.
right? And probably our headaches have names,
They all do.
and those names are whiskey, which is not a drink; it's
Yeah.
a dog.
We
and
met-
my 2 dogs.
We met your headaches in episode 1.
Yeah, you did.
Episode
You
2,
did.
they weren't around.
I reached out to Ray. I was like, you
I
might
could tell
want to
you.
get that under
Yeah,
wraps.
we did pretty
They're
quickly.
they're in episode 3 because I had to take out when I was like, we honestly at this point we've been doing light editing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because,
that'll get lighter.
Trust me, I don't know how intrusive it is right now, but if it gets lighter, that might be better.
Yeah, right.
But
It
I mean,
will.
Ray and I, we work full-time jobs.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't have time to sit around and do that.
You have other interests and families.
Exactly. Right. So, today I took out like Chaco barking in the background, one of my German Shepherds, and we have two, Chaco and Radar. But,
Radar's cooler.
Yeah. Well, we named him after Radar O'Reilly too, from MASH.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
Yeah.
the only Radar I knew, and
Yeah.
I just immediately was like, nah, that dog's cooler.
It makes sense, right?
Chaco's kind of a, he's leg humper. He's a little bit of a Whereas-
You're acting like you know these dogs.
I don't have to know these dogs. If you tell me, hey, can I bring Chaco or Radar over? I'm like, yeah, Radar's cool. Leave Chaco. No, I just know that already. Am I wrong?
It's
That's probably the decision you wanna make,
wanna
too.
because
No,
Chaco will like eat
I
your
take it all
face.
back.
I knew
Take
that.
it all back.
And names matter, man.
Yeah.
It does. So, so our problems have names. And then the other thing is
Nice pivot, because you had me going down the.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go with girlfriend and wives names, but
no.
you went with the dogs.
I mean,
Wow, Troy.
Well, Brendan goes, we all have name problems, right?
we did try an episode where we, I think it was episode 2 where we tried to get them to like interact.
to be involved,
Yeah.
but they
and
weren't.
we quickly decided that was a bad idea.
It's not for everybody.
It's not. And listen, his wife is she's kind of like
She's highly involved.
She's
Just
highly
not on the mic.
involved. So
There's
she
a lot
does
to do.
She does our social media.
There's a lot to do outside of talking.
She writes out the recipes.
Dude,
She-
that's fantastic.
right. So
Yeah.
she has.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And she's very, very good with that. So we've got a Canva
She
account.
puts
where
up
we
with
can
YouTube.
do lots of different things.
She's
on there.
obviously an amazing woman.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
like using? How do you like using Canva?
It's
Oh, Canva's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
I've
And
looked
it's
at it. I
super
haven't.
easy.
I haven't done it, so
Yeah.
it is easy once you get into
Super
it.
easy.
Super
once you do
easy.
it.
I mean, I even created a bar menu for Ray's birthday party. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
nice.
super
See,
easy.
we got
Yeah.
we got
I have
involved.
no idea what y'all are talking about. What's Canva?
This is kind of like a online, like cheap Photoshop that you don't have to have a license for.
Oh, okay.
I mean, let's be
But
honest.
so when you're trying to put out a podcast, you can
Yeah.
actually take the time to edit the photos. You can make it look cooler, and it really lends itself to social media because
Yeah.
you can make things pop. And people are it's going to catch their eye.
So when you're scrolling, it jumps out.
yeah,
Right.
Whereas I'm literally taking a picture of a beer
With your phone,
half-assed at the
yeah.
end of the night, and like that's the fucking episode. But we're 8 years in, and also when we started, there wasn't a lot of options out there. Like I
Right.
didn't
Yeah.
have Canva came out about 4 years ago, so I was about halfway into this run. And I saw it, and they were like, "You should be using this," because like the ads were coming. They were like, "We know you do a podcast, dumbass. Like, you're
Right.
failing." And I was like, "Yeah, too late, asshole. Like, I'm fine." But it's like when I started, there wasn't really a lot of options available to me, and
Right.
so I found the path of least resistance. I use Libsyn to host, and I use Audacity to edit.
right.
Now, like even Libsyn has its own editing capabilities. Like within the thing I'm already paying for,
Right.
they have it. But I use Audacity because I know it.
Well, the Libsyn, we use a Libsyn, and Amanda's doing most all of the when she posts it. You edit and she posts.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Are you editing outside of Libsyn, or are you editing it in their new?
I think you edit right in your
I
Apple,
edit right in.
in
Yeah.
your Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you already have the studio software
Right.
in the Mac.
Nice.
Yeah. See, I have like a Dell, so I'm like almost humped from the jump.
Better than an HP. I mean,
Well,
It started on an HP, quite literally.
we started on a Panasonic.
Yeah.
we really when it was a drunken night, and I was like, fuck it, we're gonna order mics and a soundboard, and we're just gonna do this. And we recorded this first episode, and then we were like, what are we gonna do now?
I love that I hear that
was.
because there's oftentimes people come in here and they're like, if Troy and Brendan can do it.
Yeah.
And so we did this, and then we had no idea
Yeah.
what else we had to do. But we knew we could make drinks, and we knew we could talk to people about this. And we've been to parties, and we've been here, and we've whatever, and people said, tell us more.
Yeah.
And so we recorded all these episodes, and a few weeks ago we were like, we've got to
Gotta get it out.
We've got to
Yeah.
get this
Yeah.
out. You
And I
know?
think
Well, you did it right because it's kind of, not to say you did it right because we did it the same way, but it's kind of how we did it. Like we were saying around, we should do a podcast. All right, let's do it. We recorded 5-6 episodes before we put one out because we wanted to make sure we had something so
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
But then you also have that kind of backfill.
Yeah,
is
the
that,
buffer,
that
right?
helps because
right.
then if something comes up, because you're still getting into a rhythm.
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
not a habit yet.
September and October suck for me.
Yeah. So you're going to have to double up,
Yeah.
a couple weeks. And, you
And
know.
we'll do that, and it's something you'll learn that there's like
Right.
the double up. The second episode of a double up is always more interesting because you've
That's our
already had
episode
multiple
too.
drinks.
We have not been able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, y'all,
Yeah.
back to the question I asked that we kind of have been squirreling around. You guys try multiple drinks every
do.
episode, so y'all can.
We do.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to
So
keep yourself from getting loose.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why we kind of changed our, if you listen to a difference between episode one, like episode one was a nightmare because we were like,
Always is.
Yep.
we were like, you know what, we should taste these drinks
On air.
Yeah.
and then give our review. And
Well, I remember when Ray was
Yeah.
telling me about the whole premise. He's like, "We're going to do 6 drinks an episode,"
Yeah,
and I'm
we
like,
were like, that's super aggressive.
"That's
Right.
way."
Right.
And
so-
plus, you're going to run through your drinks kind of quick. Like,
Yeah.
let's spread them out a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah, there's
So
only 100 drinks on the list.
10 episodes in, and we're out of things to do.
Yeah, so episode 2, we still did 6 drinks, but we decided to do them before and do it the same day, which we realized quickly that hey, we're fucking drunk.
When we
Yeah.
started, we were 10 minutes
And-
in, we were looking at each other going, I'm not sure how we're going to finish this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
it's
like,
hard.
how does
Yeah.
this end? Like we have no idea.
People don't understand that it is actually difficult to maintain a conversation that has a quality flow
Yes.
Right.
for an hour and a half or however long you choose to do
Especially
it.
with 2
And it's-
people.
Well,
Right.
what's interesting is my son, who listened to the first and second episode, he sent me a message. He goes, "It's great. Everybody likes it in the frat." And he goes, "But it sounds like that you guys are friends. Like Taylor and I are friends." And I think it's the same thing with you guys because
Yeah.
you guys have been friends for so long.
People
It's easy.
appreciate that,
right?
yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's
easy,
easy.
and we play off of each other. And
But unfortunately, that is where it gets too easy.
Right.
You actually need a little controversy. You need like an asshole to come in.
Yeah.
And it's not just radar.
Yeah, that's true.
You do need some. We find that some of the better episodes, because Troy and I are so, in simpatico.
Yeah.
right, in
that it's
line,
Right,
yeah.
right.
like our beliefs are the same. So if you don't have somebody to challenge you, then
Right.
oftentimes it's just 2 dudes doing the same thing
Right.
over and over. Whereas like when we had Ely on in the early years, and Ely fucking hates me. And that really works well for pod because then at least he's like, you dumbass. And it's like, wait, why am I a dumbass? And then he gives his point,
Right.
and that actually helps.
Right.
So I would encourage you to, if there is a differentiation opinion, go after it.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Lean into it.
we did have our first guest last night, which was interesting. And back to the premise is that we decided to have a bourbon expert, quote unquote. He
Yeah.
had 300 bottles in his collection, and
Sounds like an expert
right,
to me.
Right. So he's
Yeah.
pretty
Does
good
he
at this.
drink his bourbon?
He does. He
Then he's
does.
cool. He's cool.
Yeah.
He does.
And so when we had him on, he brought his significant other, and so she
Out of the blue?
out of the blue,
Yeah.
kind of. So she wanted to be on there as well, and it
You can
turned-
speak freely. They don't listen to this
Right.
show.
it was fine. It was, but you got to have, I think that we need to have that extra. We need to have somebody every once in a while. But we are so,
Tension's important.
but we are so afraid that, what happens to dead air,
Yeah.
like we get somebody on there that's terrible and,
Yeah.
and then how do you manage that conversation?
Well, that's
You
where-
make fun of them.
You just make fun of them. Okay.
No, you lean
You can
in.
do that.
Well, that's where
It's
that's
easy.
where the 2 of you having a good rapport will lift. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
We've had, and I would say honestly, most people are good enough.
Sure.
And it's not even a problem. We've had a few, lower tier people, and it's like, we really had to pull that one along. And then when, you come in and you've been great, Ray, since day one. I mean, we actually got feedback at how much people enjoyed having you on. So you're going to have different levels, but
Sure.
keep doing the 2-man thing, but definitely lean into any disagreements and have a guest on occasionally. People will appreciate it. I
Right.
think people appreciate
No,
when we
it
have
does.
guests
We
on.
It does.
we actually had our first creative difference this week.
we did.
Nice.
And it was
We-
over your Sazerac.
It was over your Sazerac. You
was.
want to
Can't wait to hear it.
All right, you want to tell them? I think this is a great story because I think
think
it
it is,
matters
too.
with
Yeah.
our.
I mean, I can
and
tell you
here's-
this. I'm on Taylor's team.
Most people are.
The way we do this, the way we do our podcast is that we choose a cocktail an ingredient or a mixer or something that we use that. So our first week was old fashions. So we made
It's a hub, and then you're going
we
spokes
did
off
6
the
different
hub.
old fashions.
Yeah.
And then on the second episode, we did lemon cocktails. So we did different kinds of lemon. And then we did mint, our third episode, which is coming out. So we did drinks that had mint in it.
Right.
Our last episode were all bourbon cocktails.
Right.
And so a Sazerac technically is rye or cognac. However, go ahead.
I personally think, and your cocktail is that a Sazerac should be 3/4 bourbon, 3/4 rye, and 3/4 cognac. And have,
That's the only way I drink Sazerac.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's just fucking better that way.
It is.
just
It absolutely is better. I'm
and-
not.
This is a great segue for me. I didn't realize that this was, so you just pick an ingredient and you run with it.
Yep.
And that's your go-to.
Right.
Allow me to introduce you.
There it is. How did we get
I
here?
was like
Hold on,
wondering why you had that shit out.
Did we finish the Sazerac
that's
story?
fucking shit.
I can tell you how the story ends. Taylor wins, Ray's out.
Okay, well, what's
is.
Ray's counterpoint? Obviously, Taylor
thinks
made
it's bourbon.
So you think it's
Well,
no?
I think that for that episode, we should have made the cocktail with just either rye or bourbon.
Okay.
Right? And not had the cognac in there because it's not a part of that family. And
And
yeah.
you were like, we're all about simple cocktails. And I said,
yeah.
but that's
Okay,
a
you
simple
know what?
shitty
Yeah.
cocktail.
Yeah.
There's enough hate between them. This
Yeah,
is
I
going
like
to be
it.
perfect.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is going to be good. There's already some
but
disagreement.
I had some validation. So he
Yeah,
goes out. He
did.
goes out on
This motherfucker.
So Monday. we
Google
have this
proved me
conversation.
right.
So Tuesday he goes out.
I go out on Tuesday. It's after an all day like work meeting. And I go to a pretty good bar down in Richmond. And
Grand Staffenstein.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to Grand
Oh,
Staff?
no, I've heard amazing things about. Is this
Oh, it's good.
the speakeasy?
Speakeasy?
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I've heard they make excellent cocktails.
They do.
they do. They also make a really good smoked old fashioned that you would like there.
How do they do their
But-
Sazeracs?
Yeah,
It's
you
going to
would
be
ask
Team
that.
Ray, I think.
So yeah, it was Team Ray. So I showed up and my girl that I was with, because a bunch of us went out after work, I looked at the bartender and I was like, I think I want a Sazerac because I just made one the other night, and honestly, I kind of wanted to gloat.
Yeah, you were like,
Ray, I was just like, "Hey, buddy, guess what? They fucking made me." Like, like I wanted to get
I
on
love
Yeah.
those attitude.
right?
Yeah.
And I looked at the girl and I said, "Yeah, I would love a Sazerac." And she goes, "Oh, great, cognac, rye, whiskey. What do you want?" And I said, "Yes." Right? And she screwed up her face, and I was like, "I mean, like, you know,
proper-
three quarter,
yeah.
Hold on. In Taylor's defense, she also listed,
all three of
and
his
they
ingredients.
can all be made that way.
but
can all be made
But
that
you
way.
did say that it should be. You did not include cognac.
Well, but it can be done with cognac. The original recipe is with cognac. However, that wasn't a part of our episode. Our bourbon. It was a
the
bourbon
original,
episode.
But back to Taylor's point, he made a drink with bourbon in it, and if you're doing bourbon
Yeah.
as your hub, you could
Exactly.
add 8 different.
Yeah, you put tequila
That
in
was
there as
his-
long as there's some bourbon.
Yeah.
That was his.
my
That was
point.
like we could. That's just adding like an extra ingredient to your bourbon cocktail.
Yeah,
Yes. So,
So-
Troy, do you
It's easy.
agree?
However,
agree then? Okay.
but listen to how much it cost him.
Yeah. So I told her yes, all
Yeah,
three,
all
right?
of them.
And
was she confused, or did she know?
I a little bit confused. Yeah, I legitimately had to be like
Walk her through
it's
it.
3/4, like 1/4 simple,
Pompous ass.
like fuck you.
Bartenders love when you do that, don't
Oh,
they?
they love it.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah, I know. I realized that too, but
You don't know how to make this drink that I
Man.
know.
Like, ew, it's a Cuba Libre, bitch. Put a fucking lime in it.
How dare you insult me?
mellow yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she brought it to me. Honestly, it was exactly what I asked for. I mean, much like you did, they even atomized the
Oh, they itemized. So it did cost a fortune.
No,
They
atomized.
atomized.
the
Oh,
accent.
atomized. I was like, they
yeah.
itemized
And
it.
they itemized. I
Yeah.
think is where the
and
story's
they
going.
itemized. Right.
Tit for tat.
So me and my coworker, we were like, we'll split the bill together, whatever. It makes it fucking easier.
Yeah,
And,
we're adults.
yeah.
You bought a $8 drink.
Exactly.
I bought a $12 drink. It doesn't matter. Like,
So
This is not a $12
well,
drink.
no, I know, but
I
this is
can
what you're
already-
thinking. This is what you're
Yes,
thinking.
yeah.
Like,
well,
yes.
I already
Yeah,
knew.
it's like adding cheese. trees.
Yeah.
I knew that this drink would probably be around like $15, $18.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And my coworker opened up the bill and she goes, "Holy fuck, that drink was $25." I was like, "Fuck yeah, it was."
That's about
It's
right.
like, yes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so tell
Well, I challenge you.
I know.
Because we have an ingredient. I have an ingredient here that I cannot get into a drink that tastes good on account of the corpse foot. And it's called Jepson's Malort.
Ray has had it. Have you had it?
I have had
Taylor?
it. I own a bottle of it.
Nice.
Well, now you own two.
Yeah, there it is.
So this bottle I am sending home with you.
Okay.
Because I challenge you to come up with the drink that doesn't suck my ass. Now, when I say this, Taylor, I'm now going to go against you. I'm Team Ray now. We're not cutting this with shit. This is the predominant liquor that
You
I
want
need
that
in
to be the
drink.
That
predominant.
has to
Okay.
be the predominant liquor.
So
Which
if
is-
Taylor shows up here with a 5-gallon bucket full of a bunch of different mixers and 1 ounce of Malort, like, here's your delicious Malort drink, sir.
We could probably
I'd
put
have a
that
hard
in
time arguing with that.
and we could use that in an adios motherfucker. That's a variation on a old fashioned or a Long Island iced tea. It's called an adios motherfucker.
Here's the only thing
Literally
I can
get the fuck out of here.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
Here's the only thing
That's
I can
it.
tell you about Malort. It does have ever so slightly hidden beneath the turd that is this. There is grapefruit. And I say it like that because I'm
Yeah.
still questioning, but out of all the formaldehyde and all the other notes that I taste,
It's so bad.
I do find
botanicals.
I do find grapefruit. So I think if you lean into grapefruit, you might have a shot. Maybe like a Greyhound situation. I don't know. So, good luck.
Greyhound.
That's great for us because we fucking hate grapefruit.
We do hate grapefruit. We can fix it. We'll fix a drink. If it's
You're
got
gonna love
grapefruit in
this.
it, we'll fix it.
Wow.
Yeah.
The bottle has been presented. Take it home. Now I want to
take
know.
this.
I want to know which episode this ends up on.
Okay.
Or better yet, I would love for you to come back here and
come back.
present me with an actual drink because this is a challenge that literally nobody has mastered, and I mean nobody.
Yeah, I've seen we've seen some TikToks, we've seen some Instagram, and I followed Jepson Malort on Instagram, which great Instagram by the way.
How fantastic is their-
They're so good.
They literally, they
Yeah.
never show somebody getting a job, but they always show them losing a job. Like, Jepson Malort leans in. They know what
They
they're
know-
into.
yo,
They're like,
absolutely.
Like,
hey,
we know our product.
Right.
yeah, they're like, you going out tonight to fight or shit your pants? Because Jepson's Malort. And it's like, perfect.
So we'll see. I have
Take your time.
I don't know.
Figure it out.
I'll work on
Make
it.
sure you plug us inside the Pallet House podcast.
We can do
We
that.
will.
Just in case you
Done.
forget where you are. Make sure you plug us. We gave you a bottle of Malort, and the challenge is to come up with the drink. And I do think this could be your most viral episode.
Oh, okay.
No,
Good.
because if you're following the Instagram and you know what's going on, Jepson's Malort has a loyal, albeit
you know
shitty
what?
following.
Yeah, if we follow
Yeah.
those guys, they'll definitely pick us up.
Yes, and
Yeah.
if you can
Yeah.
actually, every year they host a contest where they bring the best bartenders in from Chicago and they try to make drinks, and they all fail fucking miserably.
Okay.
If you could actually pull this off and make a mixed drink with Malort, you could be canonized. Like this is a big fucking deal.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
so I am
We've
throwing
asked-
the gauntlet down.
We've asked Squeezing Lemons basically to climb Everest with never having hiked a trail.
I know.
Basically,
We're only
like,
8 episodes
all
in.
you got to do
Yeah.
is
You cleared the
on
7-episode hurdle.
Right.
yeah.
You guys are official. So take
Okay.
this home.
Well,
Do what you can, and if you can come up with the drink that I could actually put in my gullet and think that was enjoyable, and I'm not saying I love it, I'm just saying like enjoyable.
right, you could drink it. Not
You don't want to
Yeah,
wreck.
not
the
not-
first
you,
drink.
No, I'm
like,
not- I'm
you
not
don't have
gonna-
to finish it.
No,
but
you have to finish it.
Oh, you
I'm
gotta finish
talking
it.
Out of
Okay.
5, we need a 3.
You need a 3. Okay.
But I'm only setting the bar at 3 out of 5.
Okay.
You don't have to be, but you got to be better than 2.5.
We do a lot of 3 drinks. I mean, that's it.
Well, good. This should be in your wheelhouse.
One of the things about our podcast is that we actually rate our cocktails, and we do different one of our ratings is will it get you laid? That is
Yeah,
one of them.
dude.
But,
I promise you, Malort will not get you laid.
Correct.
The first thing Malort does before you feel it everywhere else, your penis goes limp, and the vagina dries.
dries up. you know?
These are the first two
just
effects.
being in vicinity of it.
No, being in the vicinity, actually, you just you get closer to fighting, and fighting is adjacent to fucking. It's physical.
You know, if we make this cocktail, it could be the answer though to the. Do you mind if I stay over tonight? And you're like, let me make you this cocktail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe not.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, so this is the get the fuck out?
Right. Yeah.
I think it is.
Okay, no, because it will work.
That could be like the
It'll-
reverse. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
It'll
question.
pucker the vagina in a way that you've never seen.
Question for
Good
you.
luck.
I think this is headed to like a Nick and Nora type of cocktail.
I don't know. We're gonna need a.
I like that they're
Highball.
already thinking. They're dropping things that I don't even understand.
Right.
He's like, it is highball. He's like Nick and Nora. They've got the glass. They're already debating on the
I want to
glass.
see the montage of them like holding beakers up and like fucking looking through magnifying glasses, like cracking the code.
You know, there's always a great song behind a montage.
Yeah.
What do you think the song would be behind a Malort making montage? Because it can't be that upbeat. It has to be kind of sad.
Yeah.
It'd be like a System of a Down song.
Oh, I'm thinking closer to like Tom Waits.
Okay,
or
so
something weird. Neutral Milk Hotel.
there you go. Yeah.
Do that.
There you go.
So you guys do the will it get you laid? Do your ladies vote on this? Because I would ask their input on the will it get you laid. Because us guys all have our like, oh, chicks will dig this, whatever. Like they're the
Well,
They're the checks and balances
I'm
of the whole situation.
I'm still fairly new, and I haven't put a ring on it, so we're still well into the. It doesn't matter if the wind's blowing, we're good to go.
we get it.
so-
Stop bragging, Jesus.
Do you see that? Dude?
Yeah, I'm 12 years
Humble
old.
brag.
Subtle
But
flex.
but-
though.
Mary guys.
Taylor has been around for a long time, but
Yeah.
he also doesn't have a cock block. He's got no children.
I got 0 kids. 12 years in, no kids. Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
These
I
guys
figured it
over
out.
here just having sex left and right.
These dudes fuck.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because they all the whiskey. But-
So yes, they'll tell us, they'll be, it's not for us, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'd
think
make
my
me another
wife
one,
also-
baby. When they say make me another one, baby, we're like, we know.
Yeah.
I think also like my wife, like she does most of the social media, and she'll just be like, "That's a sexy fucking cocktail."
Yeah.
Like,
There you go.
All right. Well, she's going to have a field day with the Malort cocktail on social media
Wow.
because honestly, this is this could catapult you.
It could.
I'm trying to help. Take it from a guy who's done this for 8 years and it's never gone viral.
Right.
This is what you need.
I mean, it's a simple fact that like everybody can take a good bourbon and make a decent drink with it. Well, not everybody, but it's easier. Like we're laying down a gauntlet here. Like
This is
take
a
the hard
gauntlet.
route. Yeah.
This is a difficult drink. There is grapefruit. Outside of that, it's
Something.
There's something. So speaking of rating, are we doing a beer tonight?
So I have beers if we want to do them, but I knew there were so many drinks in the house that I thought maybe I would rate a drink, but I'm open either way.
It's up to you guys. I'm gonna ask Taylor to make the last word so that at least Troy can try it because he did challenge me when we were here.
yeah.
and
The gin.
the gin drink. Yeah. And if he does, I want him to taste it, and then, but I want to drink it.
Yeah. Well, I can make that easy.
I like your fucking
Nice.
attitude because I just officially got through 2 drinks and I'm slurring a little. It's time for change.
We have other drinks. Do you want a non-alcoholic drink?
I
Okay.
don't.
All right. Great. All right.
No.
So, but
No,
if
you triggered the demon on
Yeah,
my shoulder.
Brendan's down that road. You're not turning him around.
Do you want the shitty version of a Sazerac? No.
Oh, shots fired.
So, Ray,
Across
you
the
want to step
bar.
off mic and make a drink? Is that what I was saying?
he's gonna step off and make it. Oh, you want?
No, you got the
Yeah,
joke. You
yeah,
got
I
the
got
joke.
it.
It took a
There's-
second, but it landed, and I'll take it. As long as it lands at some point, I'm good with it. No, I think. Did it just get brighter in here?
Yeah, it's the TV.
Okay, that fucked me up. I was like,
We've
like,
been
what?
podcasting all night, Brendan.
I know,
It's
but I
daytime.
was like, what are the signs of a stroke? It's like burnt toast and bright lights. I don't know.
oh,
Let's do it. I'll do a beer.
okay.
All right, so in here, I actually have 2 beers, and you
All
can
right.
choose from. Now, both of them are
Let the
coming
guest
from,
choose.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to describe the 2 beers.
Why don't you describe them? Am I helping? Brendan's in a good place, I could tell.
You see that pause? That was tension. That was tension, boys. All right, so I have 2 beers here. One of them is from a place called Wild Man Dan's. This is a small brewery that's in Charlottesville, Virginia on the 151 corridor. Now, just down the road from them is Blue Mountain Brewery, which is actually pretty well known. Now, Blue Mountain Brewery does a beer they call the Spooky. And the Spooky is a pumpkin beer, and they will often put it in bourbon barrels.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not bourbon neat. But this is the poached pear version of it.
Okay.
So they actually do poached pear. The other is Wild Man Dan's, and it's just his Irish red. And I know I didn't oversell that, but I'm saying they're both very interesting beers and are both worth a look. Would you rather have an Irish red or a poached pear pumpkin beer?
Well, I think that I'd like to, because we're cocktail guys, we'll try something a little different. We'll do the poached pear and pumpkin.
I don't blame it. So, Troy, that would be the 22 ounce with the cork in it. Yes.
Oh,
with the cage.
look at that.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's a whole fucking thing.
Spooky series variant 2.
Yeah. This is a.
Did you get this? Did you get this in October?
8.5%.
No, I got this last weekend
Okay.
because I walked into Blue Mountain. I said, "What do you have left from the spooky?" And they were like, "Just the poached pear." And I was like, "Fair enough."
It says it does have an enjoy by date, and it is
Yesterday.
July 1st.
Fuck yeah.
So
Because of the
2022.
bourbon
Noticed
barrel.
that's 23.
Okay.
This is fancy. This is the big 22.
Are you sure you want to do that? I mean, that looks like. I mean, we're not those kind of guests.
Here you are.
For sure. All right.
What are y'all talking about? You brought over hundreds of dollars worth of liquor to feed Brandon. I think he can give you a.
That is the other thing that has happened when we started this podcast is that
The investment goes
the
up.
investment that we have currently,
That's true.
not
Gotten
only
out
is
of hand?
it not only just bourbon, but
It's a cordials.
it's
Yeah.
the cordials. It's the it's
Fill them up, Troy. That's a huge ass bottle.
it's the add-ons. It's whatever else we need to make it. It's the citrus. It's the sugar. It's an investment. You know?
Oh yeah, everything in a podcast is an investment. It's like buying a fucking Land Rover. You know, it's like you may as well just date a stripper. She's like, I just do coke on the weekends and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Monday.
Well, we
Every day's a weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have 2 mics and like 3 sets of headsets.
Yeah.
And when we had our guests, we were like sharing mics, and I was like,
No,
we
you can't do it. You need more
we,
mics.
we have to
Yeah.
have more mics,
Ray,
and then
I was 2 men, 1 mic.
but now we have to get
I've
a difference.
seen that.
Hold on.
You have, yeah.
You two shared a mic? Come on, you're the host.
We shared the 2
shared a
guests
mic
shared
too.
a mic too,
Oh, okay. Oh, because you only have 2 mics, not
Correct,
even 3. Yeah.
and so now we got to get another soundboard.
Yeah.
We gotta,
Yeah.
Oh, you see, this is how it happens. And then you end up with this shit multicolored with all kinds of crazy shit. You're like,
Oh no! Someone peed in my pants!
you got sound drops. Yeah, it's just the whole thing.
It's
It's
expensive.
addictive.
So I do want to while we're tasting this beer. This is the poached pear from Blue Mountain Brewery. Because we did not get a chance to have the Wild Man Dan, I do want to tell a quick story about my past weekend. So this past weekend, yeah, is right.
Yeah.
It's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So while we're tasting this, last weekend I went into Wild Man Dan Brewery. Now, Wild Man Dan Brewery is very small scale. This is a guy who is a home brewer, and he actually is like the head of the home brewer club in Charlottesville, but happens to be right in that 151 corridor, which has become Alcohol Alley for those that don't know, who are outside of the Virginia area. This is like a strip of country road where one brewery popped up, but there were already wineries there that were established. And then another brewery popped up. And then a distillery thought, hey, I should pop up here.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of expanded. Then cideries popped up.
Right.
And so it's this country road that you can go down that has just enough stretch of road in between each drinking establishment that you could kill yourself. And they just set it up where you can drink all day and you can drink to everybody's particular palate.
Yeah, whatever
awesome.
whatever
Yeah.
you want, they have.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Did you go to Silverback while you were there?
No, I did not, but I have been to Silverback and I love their,
Silverback.
Their gin
Gin's
is
very good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
They make a s'mores drink there that is delicious.
So Wild Man Dan has this little barn that sits right back off of 151, and it had always been there forever. There's a big Coca-Cola thing painted on the side. This barn has always attracted my attention. Finally, the private owner sold it. He bought it, decided to put his pseudo brewery in there as like a home brewer, and he was like, I'm going to take a run at this too. Why shouldn't I be, big like the Devil's Backbone
Yeah.
and the Blue Mountains of the world? So he puts this little brewery there, and he has an 1800s farmhouse in the back that he rents. kind of trying to make a name for himself. Now, I'm trying to ingratiate myself with Wildman Dan because I like his vibe.
He's there. You've met the man.
Yes, like I like the vibe. He's got this cool ass barn. He's always spinning vinyl when you walk in there, and he's got stacks of vinyl, and you can just flip through the vinyl and put on what you want.
It's awesome.
Very homey feel, you know. He's a Packers fan, and as I've told him before, y'all are like fucking cockroaches on this place, and it's frustrating me. He doesn't like that comment, but I say it to him every time. But if you go upstairs, he's got a pool table, foosball table, lounge area in the barn, and another record player with more stacks of vinyl. You just go through and you just kind of hang. And so I love the vibe because it's very much like what I'm trying to do here. So I'm like, all right, it's a glorified pallet house. I respect it. So my wife and I have rented this place for St. Patrick's Day. I'm very excited because we're going to go there for St. Patrick's Day. We got a couple
coming up. You're talking about?
Yeah, coming up.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm trying to like get in good with the guy, you know, I'm like vibing with him. So I'm coming off the slopes this past weekend after snowboarding, and I'm like, hey man, you mind if we stop over here and have a beer? Like, I'm trying to get in with this dude. I've been here once before, and I've rented his house, and I want to make a good impression. So he's like, yeah, no problem. We're sober. How could we fuck up?
Right.
Challenge accepted.
So I fucking walk in this place, and literally the only person in the place is Wildman Dan.
Oh.
And I'm like, you're damn right. This is my moment. Time to fucking shine. So I walk in, and I'm like, Dan, how are you, man? I was like, let me get one of those Irish Reds. And I was like, my buddy hasn't been here. He'd probably like to taste a couple of the beers. And Dan's like, hell yeah. He gets off his stool. I'm like, what vinyl are we spinning today? He drives. No, so like I'm acting like I'm in.
Right.
And I tell him, I'm like, hey man, you know, I've rented the place for St. Patrick's Day. I'll be here that weekend. I got my wife here. You know, we're gonna be doing some wine tours. We're gonna stay here. I'm very excited. And he was like, oh man, that's great. And my buddy orders a beer, and he's like, oh, keg's kicked. I'm gonna go around the corner and go change the kegs. So I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, well, I really have to fucking pee. And I look around, and there's a fucking door, and it said, pirate, do not enter. And I'm like, all right, this is some kind of kitschy joke.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
One of those cutesy names on the bathroom door type situation.
Don't let pirates in here.
Yeah.
Because he's got kitschy shit all over the place, you know, in his barn. So I'm like, haha, I get the joke, Dan. Fucking walk in, piss in the toilet, do my thing, hit the handle. Like, fuck, no water. Hit the faucet, there's water there. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, damn it. And I come walking out, and I'm like, all right, that's awkward. Dan comes walking around from the back, and I'm like, hey, man, just took a piss in the bathroom, and it didn't flush. And he's like, are you serious?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And I'm talking like he got, like, obviously, like, agitated.
Right.
Yeah. He's like, there's a sign on the door. And I was like, it said, pirate, do not enter. And he's like, it's a joke from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh, why did you piss in there? Are you serious? You pissed in that toilet? And I'm like, yeah, man, I didn't know. I was like, I'm sorry. Can I do anything? He's like, no, that toilet's not even hooked up. It's literally hooked up to one of the reservoirs in the brewery. And I'm like, oh, boy. This is a whole fucking...
What?
Now he's storming around, all pissed off, and it's just me and my buddy sitting in his whole fucking place. And he's just furious, stomping around the place. He goes in there, and he's like, I don't even know what to do. This is... And I'm like, I already told him I'm staying here in March. Like, he's
gonna like take your reservation away.
He's
just kick you off
at me. Furious. I literally had to sit there for multiple beers just trying to calm him down.
Oh, shit.
Just trying to get back in his good graces.
What'd your buddy think?
Dude.
Was he laughing at you?
No. He was like, I am so uncomfortable right now.
He wanted to eject, I'm sure.
No, so he ordered a 5-ounce sampler. And he was like, can we go? And I was like, we cannot.
You better order some 22-ounce beers. Like,
You're going to be trashed.
What kind of limit do you have on your credit card?
Yeah. No, we're fucking buying his brewery.
Right.
Right.
But he's like, I can't dump it back into the tank. And he's like, oh, all right, I got to go back there. I got to do some stuff. So then
what does he mean by the toilets hooked up to the
reservoir?
I don't know. He's got some like bladder back there that can take it, but he doesn't want it going into that. So he had to shift where the lines went. And he's like, it's not hooked up, man. I thought I had the sign on the door. I thought you'd recognize.
I don't care what signage is on the door. If you don't want someone using a toilet that's not hooked up to anything, don't have a toilet.
Should like
Saran wrap the
like
thing,
wrap it up or
Lock
something.
the fucking door.
Yeah.
For starters. You know, he's like, there's an outhouse outside. You should have used the outhouse. And I was like, well, I didn't know. It said pirate, do
an
not enter.
outhouse.
And I was like, I'm not a pirate.
I'm not
Yeah.
fucking Jack Sparrow.
Exactly, yeah.
And that was,
You're gonna take a fucking piss.
I literally thought it was a joke.
Right.
Oh,
That's
and there's a
funny.
toilet there. Like, I
Yeah.
assume I can piss in a toilet.
Dude, he was furious. It was awkward as shit. And then, so after he figured it out and he hooked up some new tubes to some other shit, and he's like, and I even told him, I was like, I can dump some water in the back and we can flush it. He's like, you can't flush this because you go to the reservoir. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't
but
know
I'm
what that means.
I'm trying to help. Like anything I can do. I was like, do you want me to go out there and like scoop it? You got like
Yeah.
a fucking turkey baster. I can like remove the shit.
the
Like,
sink.
yeah, like whatever you need me to do. Like I'm your guy. And he's like, no, don't do anything.
Oh, and I know Brendan. Like, I knew you would have.
I was
like,
devastated.
You would have taken a measuring
Dude,
cup.
I would
and
have fucking taken a
put it
straw
right to the
and
sink.
drank my piss out of it.
Yeah.
Before I would have
That's
made
some
him.
Bear Grill shit right there.
Yeah.
The least I could do.
It's like my lord.
I felt so fucking bad, dude.
Lord.
Well, we got to state the obvious here. At least it wasn't a Duke.
No,
yeah.
and then and that was his. So after he calmed down from the initial reaction, because this dude, he's got a short fucking fuse. Wildman Dan is a very nice human, and then his
Till you piss in his non-functioning
his
toilet.
fuse,
yeah.
his
Gone.
fuse has
Yeah.
nothing to it, and then he's wild. It's not the wild I expected. I expected Wildman Dan to be like, "Let's party."
Yeah.
Not the wild. The
Different
wild
kind
is
of
a
wild.
different kind of wild. It did not go well for me. And then I had to sit there and like after we finally figured out how to get the piss out of the toilet, then I sat there and ordered another beer and like tried to eat popcorn, like act cool. I finally made enough jokes that I think I got close, but I wasn't sure. And I was like, well, Dan, we're gonna go back and get in that hot tub. I'll see you in March. And then when I was leaving, he was like, I'd recommend drinking some beers and smoking a joint when you sit in that hot tub. Makes you feel better. And I was like, Dan, I think we've made it. But it took an hour of my effort to
Oh,
like bring
man.
him back from the pisser incident. So that's the wild man because I also bought a crowler. I was like, well can I get a fucking crowler? Yeah, like,
I know you spent some coin in that place.
I had to.
Yeah.
Like I had to. Brandon's like, we got to leave. And I'm like, we literally cannot.
Yeah.
I was
We
like, have
literally cannot.
another sampler. I'm going to have another pint and then I'm going to order a crowler and I'm going to work till he doesn't hate me.
Did
And
you
then
say like, well, since I've already pissed in him once, mind if I hit it again?
No, so I shitted it and I left.
So I took a shit in the tank and then bounced.
I figure he'll find that one
He'll
a day
find
when
it
he
later.
doesn't know it's mine. I should have just pissed in the fucking tank. I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
Wasn't-
Yeah.
Well,
Stupid you thinking of toilets for pissing. You
but
idiot.
we didn't drink the beer that because you chose wisely.
Yeah.
You chose the other beer. So now we're drinking the spooky. All that was to say. Now we're drinking the spooky, and it's the poached pear, which is a very interesting.
It's a
beer.
lot happening.
There's literally pear in a pumpkin beer that's been soaked in bourbon barrels.
Right.
It's
this
a
is-
lot going on.
There's
That's
this
wild.
ass kicker of a beer.
It's got a cool label.
What's
yeah.
what's the APV? Probably
It
like
is
9.5.
8.5.
Oh,
Yeah.
close.
So it's not like over the top.
Yeah.
The funny thing about this beer, though, it's pretty fucking good if you get down to brass tacks, but at the same time, it's not. It's like it really straddles a couple of different lines, and it depends on if you're looking for a thick beer.
I'm ready to go. I got a
All right,
strong
let's start with
opinion
you.
on this.
Let's start
one.
with you.
I really like this beer.
Okay,
like,
nice.
surprisingly, because bourbon barrel beer is super hard, right? And we've had bourbon barrel. I'm pretty sure we've had bourbon barrel pumpkin beers.
They're
And-
trash usually,
Yeah.
but spooky is my absolute favorite. So the base of this is
It's a good beer.
fantastic, but the pear is a weird vibe.
Yeah, pear is never a flavor I like seek out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
never like, oh man, I can't wait to have this pear flavored whatever drink, fruit or whatever. Like it's just, but to me, the pear works really well with the pumpkin and the bourbon. They all kind of cut the
Yeah.
edge off of everything and just kind of fuse together for a really, I think, smooth and good looking, good tasting beer that doesn't have any bad aftertaste or any front forward weird stuff. There is a lot going on. Obviously, if you pay attention to all three flavors, you can taste them. But I think I think it's a really good beer. And being 8.5, it's boozy, but it's not like a lot of bourbon barrels where you're just like,
No, the bourbon's not forward. It's mostly pumpkin and pear.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah.
So I'll give this at least a 3.5. I really like this beer.
I respect that. All right. Ray, I'm going to you.
All right, so
Does Taylor know how we grade, just so we know?
Just a 5.
Just 5. Okay.
0 being the worst, 5 being the best, and a half-point scale. So 2, 2.5, 3,
Yeah,
whatever.
you don't get any of them 2.75s. That doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
That's the way we do. We have a 1 to 5 scale
Yeah, we
with
do.
our
Yeah.
with our cocktails. So what the poached part of that pear gives it that caramel or that marshmallow
Exactly, right.
so you could taste that on kind of on the back end a little bit. And I enjoy a pumpkin beer. Being a bourbon
The
guy,
Spirit Halloween guy likes a pumpkin
Yeah,
beer.
right.
What are the fucking odds?
Right.
Who would have thought?
But however, the bourbon guy doesn't like a bourbon aged
Yep.
beer
hate
because
it.
So hard to do.
they're so hard, and it's just so much, and it's like 11.5. And we have a great brewery here in town. Hardywood they overdo it. I think there's so many of them,
Yeah.
you know. But
I'm not
This-
big on Hardywood.
this is great. This is I'm thinking it's a 4. This is a
Yeah.
good beer.
Respect.
Now, however, could I drink? You know, like it comes in a 22-ounce
Could
bottle.
you drink all that?
For
Yeah.
a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
It's
I
for
would
sharing.
do a 10 or 12-ounce pour, and then that would be it,
Yeah.
and then move on. But
I look at this as like, I'm going to split this
It's a
with
bottle of
someone
wine.
else.
correct, you're going to split
Right.
this a couple guys. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So you're giving it a 4.
I'm giving it a 4.
All right, Taylor?
So, I mean, shotgun style, I'm going to give it like a 3.5.
Okay.
And there's a couple of reasons why. It's a little bit sweet heavy to me. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's a pear that's coming out,
definitely, yeah.
right? But
And you said, I don't know if you said it on the podcast, but we were talking pre-show. You're not a sweet guy.
yeah, I'm
You-
not a huge sweet guy. So
More
like, even
savory.
when I was making these old fashions and stuff like that, I wanted to make for sure that I wasn't making it too sweet for you, right?
Yeah.
Because I would rather, instead of doing a half ounce, do like a 1/4,
Yeah.
type of thing. So I think it's a little bit sweet for my taste, but it's good, right? And I enjoy a good pumpkin beer. And I think pumpkin's a really good flavor to pair with like a
I get the pun.
got it.
yeah. But at the end of the day, I think I could only do 1 pour of this
Yeah.
because it is too sweet. But as far as just rating it, I mean, 3.5 is a solid.
Well, to your point,
It's a solid
like
beer.
a lot of pumpkin beers have just so much nutmeg. It's a little too much.
Right.
Sure.
And all the bourbon beers we've ever had are way too much bourbon.
Right.
And a straight up pear beer would be too much pear. So it's like, it just kind of doesn't make sense to me. Like, I wouldn't have picked those 3 ingredients to put together, but I think they really kind of commingle in the beer really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we got a 3.5, 3.5, and a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy.
Uh-oh.
Puts me in a tough spot.
That does it.
Do you
It
go with
does.
the
It
full?
does because if this could end up with the deli.
Yeah.
It's basically where we are.
And so the deli means
Anything over 3.5
anything over 3.5.
because does everyone like it?
Does everyone like
Anything gets over 3.5, everyone likes it. It used to be does Ely like it, but
He stopped showing up.
you can't see Ely.
it? Right.
And other E words, everyone works.
Right. Everyone works.
Right.
So the deli stays. The Ely leaves. Everyone comes in.
Right.
So it's funny. I mean, I'm hearing you guys say that, and this has always been kind of my belief with this beer. I like this beer. I don't want to like this beer because I don't want peach in my beer. But on the nose, the peach is light. I enjoy it. On the palate, the peach is like, it's there, but it's not overwhelming. It's almost like the pumpkin has added a certain amount of, again, sweetness, to your point, Taylor,
Right. Yep.
because pumpkin can be sweet, in its own way. It's full of sugar, but the peach isn't overpowering, and the bourbon cuts really light.
Really, really light in the bourbon.
It does. Yeah.
it just adds booze, which is fun,
It is fun.
which is part of the poached pear. So if I'm going to take a page out of Stu's book, he's not here tonight,
Oh, man.
looking at that pear sit in the cauldron while it's sitting surrounded by fire, because this comes out at Halloween. You know, you feel that vibe. Now I can tell you this: they do a spooky that has a peanut butter chocolate,
Oh man.
and that is like
That would be different for me.
no, that is like
Would you like that, Taylor?
I probably would.
Yeah, I would love that.
one. That one right there, you could only buy it in a variety pack, right? And when I had that was like shit your pants, go blind, and be happy about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, that's
had
the
those
best beer
nights.
ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the spooky in general is already a 3.5, but the pear here doesn't take away enough for me, because the other one's a 4, right?
Yeah.
Peanut butter. The spooky on its own is like a 4 to a 3.5. This is the lower level of what the spookies do, and I can't not give it a 3.5 because
Okay.
of how well it does it. So,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to give this a deli,
Yeah.
but we're here.
We're here.
We're here.
Ring
and it's
that fucking bell.
It's a 4-man deli, so you know it's right. So
I mean,
There it is.
for the math nerds, that's a 3.625.
which is just enough to eke over to the deli. And when I was on the ghetto ski trip this past weekend, I bought a fucking 22 of this, and I put it out by the hot tub, and everybody that partook was like, well, that's strangely really good.
Nice.
right.
So the general consensus around
Everyone
all
likes
those assholes,
it. Yeah.
everyone liked it.
Right.
Good job, dude. We haven't had a deli in a minute.
Yeah. Well, we could have had Wild Man Dan's Red.
But it,
I have a feeling that wasn't going to win the deli.
It was going to be enjoyable, yet malty, but not right.
Never really. Speaking of things I never seek out, Irish Reds high up on that list. Like
Yeah.
that Killian's Red, like you used to drink that at like Hooters
Yeah.
or something, just to be, important.
different. Yeah.
Right.
Dude, that was a tasty treat.
I don't want a
was a
Coors Light. I want to kill you
I wanna
because
kill
I'm
it.
sophisticated.
Right.
No, you're not. You're 23. Shut up.
Right.
All right, so we are at an hour and 20 minutes, which means
man.
we have made it really to the point that the people listening to this don't deserve anymore. Unless they
Or-
want to send money into the Venmo. What's that?
At Inside the Pout House at Bimbo.
Not a bad idea.
So Taylor, they have a Venmo.
God damn.
Yeah, you guys should start doing that.
Hey, Ray, that comes at episode 12.
Right.
Yeah.
We're at 8. Cool your jets.
Don't expect much, but it is nice. It is nice.
No, because honestly, every once in a while, and right now, the last dude to send money in was Jason, and we respect you. He sent in a generous donation, and it's enough to pay for the hosting for the next couple weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So like you gotta respect that.
Yeah.
So
you
like
have to.
you should
Yeah.
you should ask the listeners for a little love,
Bitters aren't cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
True.
But
Yeah.
like he's cool, but everyone else can fuck themselves.
No, you think like the liquor's the high end part. Like I got to buy all these bottles of bourbon. It's like, yeah, that's the starting point, and
That's
then
the
you
starting
got to
point.
get into all the high end other ingredients.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those keep though, right? Like most of that stuff keeps.
Most of it does.
Most of it does, but I
There's some
mean-
shelf life.
Like you think about like some of our like like green and yellow chartreuse. I mean that shit's like
Yeah. So we have some green
super
chartreuse.
expensive.
Y'all behind me at chartreuse.
So
Yeah.
the green
don't see
chartreuse
color.
is $70 a bottle.
Wow.
You know,
And
and it's
that's,
made by
that's a
monks.
mixer.
And it's a
right?
That's
mixer.
a mixer.
What?
Yeah.
All right, no, don't make drinks with that. That
No, you have to make drinks
you-
with
no,
it.
but that deviates
to.
from your whole.
You have to.
So good.
It's so good.
Okay. Ew.
I mean, if you're going to have it back on,
Yeah.
we can do a whole chartreuse episode, which
Done.
Oh no, sold. No, the fact that you said that it was super expensive, and like I would like to do that episode here. That sounds like a great idea. But I do know that you did bring a drink specifically that Troy would taste.
yes.
Yeah.
Do you want? I mean, like it'll take you how long? Like 4
Maybe.
minutes? Like 2
Yeah.
minutes?
Yeah,
2,
go
3
ahead.
minutes. Yeah.
2 minutes.
I just feel like you should. If we could do a gin challenge, because
It's
he
on a
doesn't
highball.
like gin.
Yeah.
Highball.
It's on highball. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you guys have like a whole menu over here.
Oh yeah, we have an app.
So what people don't realize is there is literally a bar set up over here.
Yeah.
He literally dragged my Yeti cooler.
We got to
over
get a
here,
picture of that.
and he stacked it full of bottles.
Yep.
And like little like
Fruits and all kinds of
like
mixers.
jiggers, so he can like flip the different measurements.
Yeah.
Like he's got all the stuff, the shakers. Like this is
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this on our podcast. You know, you have to have Boston shakers. You've got to have a mixing glass. You've got to do those kind of things.
But you have the portable bar.
I do. I have a bar bag that allows.
Is there a brand that you are loyal to, or is a bar bag something I can go on Amazon and just put bar bag in and get
Yeah,
it?
you could find it if you went on Amazon and found a bar bag. I was going to get a leather one early on, but it was going to be super expensive. But I didn't know how much I was going to use it, and now I use it a lot. If someone wants to sponsor us with some bar tools or bar bags, we will gladly take
nice.
that.
That's a good idea.
So, but we
I would save that for the Malort episode.
Right.
And then put that out there because someone's going to hear that and be like, clearly. They need to have Henley leather.
So we found that on our Instagram, we can actually do what's called a link tree. Do you guys know what that is? It's a
No idea. I'm not on Instagram.
So when you can, if you have, we're going to make T-shirts. We're going to do some different things. We have a couple things that we want to do. And in this link tree that we're going to have on our Instagram, we are, it'll show some of our bar tools. It'll show our T-shirts. It'll show our, some of the cocktails that we can mix. The bitters.
Okay.
Bitters you can get online. You don't have to, because they're such low ABV. You can actually buy them.
Oh, they
anywhere.
can mail them
you
anywhere.
You can mail them anywhere.
Nice.
Right. So, and we have lots of bitters.
I didn't even know there was ABV to bitters.
Yes, it's very, very little and very small.
Okay.
Some of the bitters are made, even locally. There's someone in Roanoke that I use that makes some specialty bitters,
Nice.
and then Amanda, which is Taylor's wife, has a friend in California that makes bitters. That's going to send us some new stuff.
Oh wow,
Right,
that's
yeah.
cool.
So Taylor's over there. He's going to make what's called the last word.
I have said that I've never had a gin drink I like because the few times I've had drink, and if I'm going to be honest, I haven't had gin since probably high school or early college, and most of that was gin and juice or Tanqueray and whatever. It's mostly a Tanqueray based.
Absolutely.
And to me, always came across very pine solly, like just very
right. It's very herby. Yeah. So I will say that Tanqueray, and there are a couple other, if you wanted a London dry, that can be very pine sol. It can drink in a forest, if you will.
Yeah.
Gin is one of those, spirit that if you don't put the right kind of ingredients in it, it can really kind of screw things up.
Yeah.
We like an American gin, Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds. We use
Aviator guy.
We use
And it's
aviation.
good.
We use aviation gin in a lot of our cocktails, but there are some other gins that we do.
How do you feel about the Botanist?
So the botanicals in there. So
No. There's a beer. What's it? I'm thinking of the gin. I was the Botanist.
Oh,
Never mind.
The botanist.
The Botanist.
Botanist. Oh, so the Botanist is one of the higher ends. So
that's the one that
What is that, a
I
gin?
have fallen
It
in
is.
love with. Lately.
So the Botanist is right around $45 for a 750 milliliters.
Uh-huh.
We're using aviation tonight for this last word, which is a little cheaper, and it also doesn't have the florals that you get in some of the Botanist or even.
But you're
which is
making.
nice. He's going to go out there and shake.
You're keep the noise down.
Why he should be that noise belongs here.
Yeah.
So is he making me a NA version of this?
No, you can't. If
Oh,
you
can't
want to
drink
taste,
it.
if you
Okay.
want to taste it,
I can taste it.
You can.
You're
taste
gonna
it.
have to. You're gonna have to get in there. You're gonna have to do a lipper.
Hey,
Yeah.
Taylor,
Little
go ahead and
nummy.
shake it. Let him hear. Right.
There
So
it is.
we.
Nice.
So I mean, we're shaking, and you can see that there's frost on that glass.
Yeah.
On those shakers, which is kind of cool. And you get used to pulling those shakers off and in and out. The more you use, the easier it is.
I literally don't need this drink, but I want to see if you win or lose. I want to see if you like this.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it.
So this actually has the green chartreuse in it. That's the last word. One of our favorite gin drinks that we've had in our, I think we had one of our podcast episodes. Green chartreuse is made by monks in Europe. Only 2 monks are alive at a time that know the recipe for the green, and 2 monks know the recipe for the yellow chartreuse.
That is wild.
Yep, and they make this, and it's very, very expensive. And you'll see it in bars.
Is there a regular
Taylor-
chartreuse
Taylor,
that's
will you-
not so hard to find?
Will you grab the green chartreuse so they can see it?
Are Polak jokes still? Are we allowed to still tell those?
I think you can make fun of them.
No, are we allowed to do that?
Oh, you can do whatever you want with Polish people.
Hold on. Is there not? Is there
Are
not
they cool with
chartreuse
that?
that's like not green or yellow? That's
No,
like
it's just there is a color called chartreuse, but this is
Okay.
green chartreuse. But if you open that up and smell it, Troy, this is a great ingredient.
smells good.
It does smell good, right? It's sweet and herbal and
Oh snap!
as a
No,
matter
that's
of
a beautiful
right.
smelling.
And so as a matter of fact, what Taylor and I
Smells like
to-
you could just take a swig of it.
Is there
you
liquor
can-
in that?
There is. That one's actually a higher ABV than the yellow chartreuse. I've also brought yellow with us too.
This is 55. This is legit.
It's
ABV.
Oh, that's
legit.
real liquor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it smells like so I see how it lends itself to gin because it does have a very it's not piney so much as earthy tree
minty a little.
Like, I don't know if that's making any sense, but a little more earthy, a little more piney. That's fantastic.
Taste this.
Yeah, you should always taste any of the ingredients that you're going to put in there.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah,
But nobody
obviously.
nobody
that
thinks
way
of that,
you know,
right?
right? So that way you absolutely know what it's like.
You get a good look at a T-bone steak, but sticking your hand up a bull's ass. Damn it! I Tommied it. Oh man, that smells. You know what it does smell like though? If I'm going to be completely honest, it's borderline Malort.
No, it just tastes.
No, smell it. It smells a hint like Malort.
It's kind of mouthwashy in
It
a
is.
good way.
It is in a good way. Yeah.
In
No,
the good
hold
way.
on. This, hold on. I'm going to give you a pro tip as a man who's never made a good drink out of Malort. This could be part of what brings
Oh,
Malort.
yeah.
Because this has some of the flavors of Malort, but at the same time, it's good.
Only need a taster.
I think this could be what you're looking for.
All right. So this cocktail is called The Last Word. Go ahead and give. You want to just split it up?
I think you take a little bit of this, a little bit of grapefruit juice, you put it together with Malort. Oh shit! You know what? Fuck your challenge. I'm gonna do this one. That's my drink.
And
Little chartreuse.
we're actually going to try a couple of these. We'll see what happens. But the other thing too is that Taylor is we're gonna make.
Taylor, need cups?
Yep,
Yeah.
I do.
How many?
Just two.
One.
We're sorry this podcast is going along.
Oh, it's
gonna
going
go.
great.
Look, they didn't pay for it. Thank you, Taylor.
No problem.
I'm excited about this.
So
this
tell
is
us
the gin
about
drink.
this.
This is a gin drink.
The
This is
Last
called
Word?
The Last Word. It's been around for a really long time. It has gin, green chartreuse, and it also has Luxardo cherry liqueur in it.
Oh shit! I don't know what I'm going on here, but this is really enjoyable.
Right, it's very good, right?
You already had it?
Yeah, so that Luxardo cherry is the most subtle flavor in it, but it's the one that stays on the back.
Yeah,
Is it not colored?
No, not colored.
Ah.
And so Taylor, while we have the green chartreuse out, we're going to make another cocktail. It's called the Episcopal. So since we're talking about
It's like Catholic Light.
it is. You're gonna reach God when you drink this.
This is just chartreuse.
It's just chartreuse. It's
Oh,
three,
I just had some chartreuse. I'm already in love.
You had
with
the
that.
green, not the yellow.
but we have both. I brought both so that we could actually do both. So we have green and yellow chartreuse.
That
and
shit pours syrupy.
It does. It does.
Interesting.
And so the Episcopal is something that we thought we weren't going to enjoy or like, but absolutely,
It's two kinds of chartreuse.
two kinds.
This last
it's
word
fine.
is
Is it tart for you?
no. It tastes like something, but I can't put my finger on it.
Nor should you.
Well, I really think the Last Word as a gin cocktail is one of those classic
with
gin
God.
cocktails that you can
Go with
you can
God.
drink in the spring or summer. It's really refreshing.
It does have the last word does have a bit of a tartness to it,
Yeah.
which I like. I like sours, so I'm not that doesn't scare me away. Kind of a lemonade-y.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely lemon.
I mean, it's definitely because of the lime that's in it too, and that's fresh squeezed like lime.
Oh, okay.
right? So it has 3/4 of an ounce
This is
of that.
amazing.
Yeah, this is-
Troy, what do you think of I mean, like, is this the gin drink that you could drink?
I
is
could
this,
definitely drink that like that. I don't know. So how would you make it? Like, you can obviously taste what's in it.
Could I put this on ice?
Sure.
There's a texture in it.
Yeah. So this
Is that the
drink
ice, or is
basically.
that-
I mean, it might be. I don't know.
I think it might be so
I think
frozen
it's probably
up from the
Luxardo,
ice.
honestly, because the Luxardo in this is kind of the sweetener in
and
some
it's
ways. So it's a cherry.
beautiful.
It's a cherry cordial. But essentially, this cocktail is gin, Luxardo cherry, lime, and that's.
Oh, that's
basically
what
it.
that bottle is.
Yeah.
That Luxardo. I've seen that, but I've never.
This Luxardo, does this have booze in it?
Yeah.
It does.
Okay,
Yeah.
because what I'm looking at here, if anyone out there is familiar with Luxardo cherries, you see them typically, it's the Italian cherry that everybody uses in all of their drinks. But this is a bottle, and it's wrapped in,
Some cordage.
yeah, it's very
Right.
Yeah.
interesting. So this is actually liqueur.
Yep.
Let me
It is.
Okay,
get
so
a
this is-
sniff
Yeah,
of
it's
that.
extremely sweet too.
It actually smells like a fucking ass. I hate the way that smells.
Yeah, that's got an
Yeah.
interesting scent on it.
But it's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So that's just not the juice from Luxardo. That's not the juice that's around a Luxardo cherry when I buy it in the
No.
bottle.
No,
No.
not at all. No.
This last word, I feel like, definitely is could be a definite, like,
What
over
was I-
rocks by the pool, like, refreshing.
Right.
Yeah, it could be.
What was I
Yeah.
just handed here?
So
Oh, that's the Episcopal.
that's the Episcopal.
Why
So-
am I the only one who has an Episcopal?
Well, I mean, we can pour it out. Like we can do that.
We
I
can
think you
pass
should-
it around.
I think
it's
you
like
should
I
pass it.
mean, as long as
Listen,
you go
that
clockwise.
that has enough high proof in it that
fucking
you're good to go.
communion.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
the-
I'm like nervous. I saw that a mixed drink showed up, and then it was literally placed in front of me, and I don't.
Listen, I think
Shut up and drink it.
just
Yeah, but I don't want to be
taste-
the Mikey likes it.
He said pass
Listen.
it. It's a communal drink.
Okay.
You go first, you germaphobe.
and you might like
Oh,
it.
this.
Savory, right?
Can I
it
smell
smells
the
savory.
yellow?
It smells like.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, there's a stink on this that I'm familiar with, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Like lavender, like it's is this Italian?
So that is
Because it smells like Italy.
the only thing that's in that drink is green chartreuse and yellow chartreuse.
And ice.
The only thing.
Yeah, but it smells like Italy to me.
I know, right? So
But is this Italian?
No,
Chartreuse
so-
from Italy.
So no, chartreuse isn't from Italy necessarily. It's made by monks, but where it's made, Ray? Do you know where chartreuse is
somewhere-
specifically
Why don't you
made?
look at it?
Somewhere
Because
in
it
Europe.
smells like Italy.
Might.
I will check it. Yeah.
No, like so.
Did
like,
you taste it?
Oh, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, and it's
No, but
both
it's-
a green and yellow, and very few people actually would know how to make that cocktail. And it's one of the top 100 cocktails. That's the only way we knew it.
No, that is fucking like. That's like sex
Amazing,
in,
right?
sex in a
Yeah,
flower
it's,
bed.
it is. It is.
No, but it smells like lavender and it's Italy. So I went to Italy a few years ago with my wife, and we stayed at this place, and it had all of these aromatic flowers all around the doorway, and when we walked into this place, this is what we were in Tuscany, and it stunk like that. And that takes me back literally to that moment. Like all I can think of
It could be Italian monks.
Well,
is walking into that place, and now I'm questioning if this is Italian or if this is found elsewhere.
It might be French.
So,
yep.
Well,
It
I feel
says
like the French,
label.
the
The
French
label
probably
is
do
saying
that too.
it's
So aren't
like
the French
France.
just the weak
Yeah.
Italians?
Could be. Could be. I don't want to piss off too many people. We've already.
either.
so that drink.
It's
only
only
8 episodes.
We're only 3 episodes in.
That's fine. This is our show.
Okay, right.
And I feel like that tastes like weak Italians, i.e., French.
Okay.
So I think that tastes pretty damn good, and
Tasty as
I
fuck.
really like the texture to it. Like
Yeah.
it's got those two.
There's a heavy mouthfeel to that.
Yeah, those two liqueurs have like a
Yeah, don't.
Just bring it on.
like a
This is really high. Like, this is a lot of alcohol.
No, I
Better.
understand. That's why I passed it
it's got a
on.
good mouth coat.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, it's just so
slick
good.
and it's just really good.
Right.
There's a certain amount of anise to it.
Yeah.
Almost
Right.
like an absinthe.
Yep.
And,
But-
and again, nobody knows what the recipe is. There's 2 monks alive that know each the green and the yellow.
And the yellow,
And
yeah.
when one monks die, they pass it to
They
another
pass it
one.
on.
And
But that's what happened in Poland. That was my whole joke. Is that they no longer have ice in Poland
And
because
so-
the guy who knew the recipe died.
died.
R.I.P. Pour one out.
Yeah, because they
I will
only had
say-
one guy left.
I will say $70 a bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
$70
But it's
a
worth
bottle
it.
for that fucking shit.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
All day.
So
I understand that it's worth it, but at the same time, is it?
Yeah, I mean, we make a lot of drinks with green and yellow.
Yeah, but
sugar.
I feel like we're just a step away from creating like some syrup and absinthe,
Right.
and that'll
Didn't
kind
you
of
say the yellow's really hard to find?
sometimes the yellow is harder to find than the green.
Yeah, especially in Virginia. I will
But
say
I need this in my liquor cabinet.
You need the
I
green,
think
not
so.
the yellow.
You need the green. Yeah.
Why is the yellow so different?
less cocktails are made with the yellow.
Yeah.
It
I will
does
say-
smell
better.
totally different than the green.
It
It
absolutely
does.
does. And taste, and it's a lower
Yeah.
ABV too.
Yep. And when you're making cocktails with these like mixers, right, you're typically using like 1/12 of an ounce.
Yeah.
Right. This particular drink uses, an ounce and a half of green and 3/4 of yellow. So it's probably the highest volume that
Yeah.
we use
So therefore,
for this.
the most expensive.
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of lemons have been squeezed. In.
You look like it. You look like you had a couple squeeze in your eye.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. I've been propping myself up on
Yeah, you are.
this bar tap for a while. No, this is like I've learned more tonight about how to mix boozes than I have in the last 10 years.
Oh, by far and away.
Like it's insane.
This is educational.
It is. And am I going to learn this level of
Yeah,
education?
we talk about different kind of ratios, the 2-1-1 or the 8-4-2.
I was told there'd be no math.
Yeah, so so once we get into the math stuff, but we'll talk about that's what we talk about. We talk about how to mix and what to do, and it's honestly, you got to try some stuff out. And when you're at home, the best way to do it is just try it out.
And it's cheaper to try it at your home and
It's
fail.
absolutely.
But sometimes you succeed.
But you can actually make it better.
You can.
you
I mean,
can.
just in the stories we've heard tonight, we know Taylor makes a far better.
Sazerac, absolutely,
I
than the
do,
original.
yeah.
And listen, there's going to be a lot of people that are saying, don't steer too far away from the classic Sazerac, which is cognac based. But fuck that, we can do it
Now
however we want.
I
You
do
like
need to
what you
try
like.
it the other way.
Yeah.
But I mean, the way I've had it tonight, it was heavenly.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
And I'm blown away, and it's just interesting to see, and that's why I think your podcast is actually going to be pretty damn successful, because I think a lot of people do want to do this at home.
Mm-hmm.
They want to figure out how to make drinks, and I'm one of those people. So I'm officially now in.
Yeah, and we want people to tell us what they want.
Yeah,
send
for sure.
us in for.
I want Malort. I want
Yeah.
Malort.
We're gonna-
in a mixed drink.
We're gonna try.
Look,
We'll
they've been
do-
inundated with Malort recipes. They're on it, okay? Give them some time.
Yeah, everybody's got a Malort
Everybody wants
recipe.
Malort.
Yeah, pour
We
on the
get it.
grilled cheese
Yeah.
and shoot yourself. That's the recipe.
Bourbon's fucked out. We're going to Malort now. I get it.
No, it is the move. Get that
right,
Malort
might be.
recipe
Bourbon
dialed
Malort.
in.
The hard left.
You do it. But I do think this charcuterie,
the chartreuse.
charcuterie is the answer.
Yeah, Brendan.
So true.
Oh no, I'm done.
Put a pin.
Yeah, no, I'm light years away from the light.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. No, I mean, I think your podcast has a lot of legs. Like, I think this is something that people want to do. They want to make drinks at home, and they want them to taste like they do when they go to the bars, and they want to figure out how to not spend a lot of money doing it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the crux of what you're doing. So
Check out Squeezing Lemons. No G on squeezing. It's squeezing.
No, it's squeezing.
Squeezing lemons.
yeah.
Okay. Squeezing Lemons on Spotify
Spotify.
for now. Keep an eye out on the other
Platform.
podcast
how
platform.
far are we out from the others? You don't
3
know.
weeks. We're
3 weeks, yeah.
3 weeks. All right.
We got 4 to 5. They said 4 to 5 weeks before we're on the fruit.
Isn't that horrible?
fruit.
It's all right.
But
It's
you're using
wild.
Libsyn, right?
We are using Libsyn.
Yep.
All right. So there's
Super
other
simple and
feeds. There's
easy.
other feeds you can set up that gets you out there in like India,
Well, we don't need to be in
like
India.
right away. Oh, you do. Look,
After we make our
A lot of people there.
After we make Malort, India's going to be like,
it's going to
on
be
it.
worldwide. Yeah.
Just get it to Chicago before the Malort episode. That should be gangbusters.
That's true.
But you already have enough in the can that by the time the Malort episode will come out, it'll
Yeah.
be on everything.
Yeah, it might take us a couple. So maybe
might.
episode 10, maybe 11. I don't know.
Who knows? We'll see.
Respect.
Might take us till episode 10 to figure it out.
Right, that is true.
You don't want to waste the whole episode on this Malort thing. It could be a one-off.
Maybe we do. I don't
It'll
know.
be a one-off, but it's a winner. It's a winner because nobody's cracked the code.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Da Vinci
I think these two
Code.
might be able to figure it out.
Yeah, if
because
anything, I think Taylor can crack the code. He's pretty good.
they figured a gin drink out that I didn't want to spit take. So,
Right.
I mean, that's impressive.
And the crazy thing is, they used something that leaned into gin flavors.
Yeah.
And it was still good.
Sometimes two wrongs make a right.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks for coming out, guys, and bringing your
thanks
entire
for having
bar.
us. Yeah.
Holy cow.
yeah, no, this bar setup is ridiculous. I have a lot of booze out here, but I don't have all the things that make booze good.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
well-
would you like booze?
Yeah.
You guys are making drinks. No, so we certainly do appreciate you coming out here, man. This was a lot of fun. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah,
for sure.
thank you. And we'll come out anytime.
Yeah, we'll have you
Yeah.
back for sure.
And I would like to challenge you to bring us on your podcast.
Oh, absolutely. We
I think
definitely will get that.
That's the next move. We need
That'd
to
be
come on
awesome.
your
Yeah.
podcast.
It is.
and,
You do have to drink 6 cocktails.
We do.
Challenge accepted,
as
right, Brendan?
opposed to tonight.
Yeah,
It's a 2-day event.
it is.
I'll
I've
get you
certainly
home,
done worse.
Brendan.
Right there you go.
Yeah, that's right. Thank God for Troy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, what would Troy do? Drive.
Yep.
No, thank you all so much for coming out, Ray Taylor. We do appreciate it. Wish you the best of luck. It's the Squeezing Lemons podcast, currently available on Spotify. You can find it on other mediums coming soon.
Yeah,
Soon.
coming soon, and then check us out on Instagram, squeezinglemons_cocktails.
Yeah, because at this point, they're actually putting good graphics out there and good images. We're not doing that. You'll get a picture of the bar on the
No.
Yeti cooler
Yep.
tonight.
Give us 8 years.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to head over to Nectar Sunglasses, drop Abacus in the coupon code. You get 20% off. And you can always, if you need a mortgage, do yourself a favor. Go to Screen Door Mortgage. They will take care of what is already a difficult situation and make it a lot easier. Thank you both so much for coming out. We really do appreciate it.
So welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
And if you want to make a donation, hit us up on Venmo at Inside the Pout House.
That's not a bad idea. And you can always pull a Cincinnati swap. Just go grab somebody's phone.
Sign them up.
They're like, what are you listening to? Why are you laughing so hard? Oh, I was listening Inside the Pout House. Don't just tell them. Grab their phone, sign them up for the podcast. Then they're in.
Yep.
Win-win, mostly for us. But then at least, you have something to talk about with your friend in the cubicle.
Oh, did I read on the last podcast? We did get a listener, Adam, gave us a
You got a review?
review. It's been
I
a
will
year.
turn down the music because
So-
I'm a producer.
So we, so we did get a review from a listener, Adam, and let me read that. We like your reviews. We don't get paid, so rating and reviewing is number one. Got a 5-star review. Title is Malort, of course.
Perfect.
Great show. Troy, Ely, and Brendan are great on the mic. Keep it up. So, hey, thanks, Adam.
Hey, Adam, how fucking far behind are you?
I don't even know what the last Malort episode was.
No,
Well,
it's
no.
the Ely's the problem.
Well,
but, hey, Adam, thank you so much because most of these deadbeats don't do anything.
Yeah.
So we respect you. Thank you, Adam, for the review. We certainly do appreciate it. We'll be talking to you soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
You guys don't have any crazy catchphrases you want to drop in the mic right at the end?
No, just check us out.
Just squeezing lemons.
That's it.
All right. So let me drop their catchphrase. You can squeeze lemons all day and not make lemonade. We're making drinks. Cheers.
That rolls right off the tongue.
Yes. That was the first shot I had.
That was a pretty good podcast, don't you think?